evening and welcome to the FE Bar. I'm your host, Jack Jordan Maynard, and joining me again is Kyle Holloway from the current lap. The calendar is out, everybody, and Formula E have revealed a record-breaking 21 race calendar, which includes Austin, Zandvoort and Brands Hatch. But we also have a new sporting format to talk about. E-Prix Unleashed. We'll see Formula E have sprint races on a doubleheader, and Pit Boost has gone through some changes as well. But remember, we cannot do this show without you. So Discord in chat, and we can have a lovely conversation. As I realised I had one of my headphones out, but it's so hot. It's so hot. Kyle, it's so hot. We managed to do this on Monday, and we're going to have to sweat through another show. But how are we?
Yeah. I'm sticky warm this time. Obviously, I had a fan, but I don't have that anymore. I've gone for the whole classic fan approach. But the calendar, it really excited me to see where Gen 4's going. It feels like more of a premium series with less breaks. I've looked at it logistically. I've tried to get to know the Gen 4 by just seeing how they've laid it out, and I'm hoping that, I think the sprint format and I think everything that they've got planned for season 13 is going to go hand in hand, and it's going to be amazing.
We did. So let's do a little bit of a preview before we get basically talking about the calendar and find out what is happening in today's show. So at 8:30, we will be joined by Tobias Wirtz from Formula News to talk about everything from the calendar. At 9 o'clock, so we'll take a bit of break, and then at 9 o'clock-ish, we will have just a little montage from Jack Smith from Motorsport Week, who gave us his thoughts. Unfortunately, wanted to be here but couldn't be here. He's flying to Austria, but he gave us a little monologue, which I've put together, a little sort of video package for you guys that we'll just listen to at 9, and we'll hear what he has to say and see if we agree or disagree with anything that he has to say. And if we're lucky, people, towards the end of the show, we might get a visit from Nick Golding. He is currently sweating at Buckmore Park, doing a go-kart race in his championship. So if we're a little bit lucky towards the end of the show. However, depending on my face, depending on how Carl's face is, depending on how we're doing, depending on how quickly we get through the calls, we might end the show a little bit earlier, because it is like 37 degrees in the UK right now. And I'm in a sauna. I don't know what your room's like, Kyle, but mine is a sauna, right? So we'll try our best, but also keep hydrated and all that lovely good stuff. And I hope you are enjoying the heat the best that you can. But let's start with the calendar. First and foremost, I've got the calendar. I've got a little image so we can get up and we can go through the calendar. Because there was one shock for me. One shock. There was one I did not know that was coming, right? And that was Austin. I'll be honest. Austin was the one. I didn't hear many. I knew they potentially wanted another race in America, but I didn't hear much about Austin, to be fair, from all the talk. So we start in Jeddah on the 18th and 19th in Saudi Arabia. That one we pretty much knew, with Mexico following on the January 16th. February 6th then for Austin, followed by Miami, February 20th. Then we go to Sao Paulo in March. So Sao Paulo no longer starting us off anymore. Sanya does stay. So there was a bit of rumblings over the weekend that we were talking about that maybe it was going to stay, and it does stay, before we get into this mammoth European leg of Berlin on May 8th, 9th at Tempelhof, Monaco doubleheader 15th and 16th, with London going to Brands Hatch, which we kind of all knew, but was going to be really exciting to talk about that and see what all your opinions are on that. Zandvoort as well, an exciting one. Lots of rumours that it may have been the final race of the season, but it wasn't to be. That has gone to Tokyo, which is quite an interesting one. Madrid then is not quite July, but June. Birthday for me, race potentially on the 27th for me. So will I be there for my 32nd birthday? That will be next year. So get any guesses for what my birthday is this year on Saturday? Then Shanghai on July 10th and July 11th, and then, as we said, Tokyo 24th and 25th to round out the season. It is, Kyle, a very, very interesting calendar. What was your first thoughts on it when you saw it? What was your observations? Give us that.
I was actually really pleased to see that, one, we've not lost any circuits from season 12, because I think we've got a good roster of tracks this year. Sanya's the big one for me, I think. Obviously the new tracks, but Sanya staying, because obviously we did discuss this. How is it going to work? And I didn't think it really worked very well for the Gen 3. I thought it was a bit too claustrophobic for that car. So to see it back on the calendar is a nice surprise, but I'm going to have probably lots of questions come that race weekend. As I said in that introduction, the big one for me is the gaps. It feels like a better season. There's less gaps. If you think about 6th of December to the 10th of January was our first round and second round. And we kind of let that one go because it's Christmas. But this time, to be on the 18th and 19th of December, then we have our Christmas dinner, and then we have a New Year, and then we're straight back into the racing. And I feel like that to me is closing those gaps on the bigger ones is better. And I think the biggest gap for us is Brazil and Sanya. And I think that normally is because of the motorsport calendar in April, May. I think that's why they do it. But hectic. I'll take that as a spring break. I think it's a fantastic calendar. I think nice to not have the British E-Prix or the London E-Prix as the finale. I think it lets Brands Hatch bed in quite nicely because I think they're going to go well round there. But I think it's a lot of pressure for a season finale if you want it to bang. So,
you are 100%. You're 100% right. I think in terms of the start of the calendar, right, and it being quite heavy because Formula E have kind of failed on that, right, and they wanted the championship to be, a championship where people would watch it while Formula 1 was not on, right, and now with the Gen 4 and the intrigue with the Gen 4 era. Fans have got a lot of time before the traditional Formula 1 starts, like early March, right? There's a good couple of races there, in a good couple of venues, right? And Formula 1 venues as well. So Austin, I know it's not going to be the full layout, the same with Miami, but a little bit where they can see how the cars go. And that could very likely, in terms of, might reach some new fans and really get the Gen 4, steam train rolling.
Do you think that some of the circuits will be longer as we progress from Gen 2 to Gen 3? Look at Mexico evolving. Do we believe in Gen 4 we're going to have a longer layout? And the only reason I sort of come to this because I was looking at the single headers and I was like, why are these specifically single headers? And I was thinking, these are circuits that could naturally just get longer. Jeddah, they've got more circuit they could use. Mexico, Austin, Miami, they're all circuits that can be extended quite largely, and obviously Sanya, they can go further up the dual carriageway if they wanted to. It's only Brazil that I don't think will change, but that was my kind of thought because I always think it's a bit weird that they do some single headers and some double headers. I know there's obviously logistics and all that, but it is an interesting one for me.
To go back to your first point on longer layouts, we are expecting longer layouts. We're expecting longer layouts at Jeddah. We're expecting longer layouts at Mexico potentially. As well, because I remember speaking to Antonio Felix Acosta at the Gen 4 launch, and he kind of let that one out of the bag for us. And it was an event that was filmed, but I don't think it will see the light of day, unfortunately. It was just which is a shame because it was a really lovely piece that a lot of content creators. So it wasn't just Formula E Zone, but there was a good handful of us. But there was some issues with it, and one of those. But on what he said was he was expecting a little bit of track lengthening because they can, and we talked about Madrid as well with the final chicane. Does that need to be there? He says potentially not. It doesn't need to be there. So it'd be interesting to see when we get closer to these races and the track layouts start to emerge.
Can I ask a point about Zandvoort? Because
go on.
Zandvoort's the only one I know they can cut the middle sector out, which I believe is what they'll do. But knowing Zandvoort, that straight is huge. Do you think they're going to build a chicane along the way to break
because
it
if you
off?
think I don't think so, because if you think of Madrid, if they're saying that we don't need one for Madrid, right, then why would we need one for Zandvoort? It's really interesting to see how the capabilities of these cars, and I think when we see them in action in testing in Madrid, and we'll get a good chance to see what the layout they use for in Madrid, and that could be telling, right, to see what they do, because they could test the full straight, and if it doesn't work, then okay, they might add some more chicanes, but that could be a good tester to see how these cars would run with the chicane taken out in Madrid, which I kind of expect them to do. They need to push these cars. They need to
test race, don't they?
Yeah, well, which they would do as well. So it'd be really interesting to see what they decide to do in terms of that. Right, there's a couple before we start taking your calls, because the waiting room is fairly busy. We love that, and we're going to try and get in as many of you as possible.
Can I just punt in with a Pico comment, because I've seen he commented about Sanya being switched with Madrid because he thinks it's a bit bizarre. So I feel like I'm doing his co-hosting here by just hearing what he said recently, and I can see it from a logistics standpoint, but it's an interesting one, isn't it?
It is an interesting one. Just a comment from Robertson Robotics, the talks of Phoenix is dead. You are probably right on that. It looks like that's just not happening. I know that was a lot of talk and a lot of things, but yeah, probably not happening in Phoenix now that we have Austin. Right, so just a bit of a recap on the rules, because the sporting format was also came out. So let's get your views on E-Prix Unleashed, right? A 30-minute, full power sprint race, right? Which will take place, I think, from what it looks like on the Saturdays, and the Sundays will be the traditional Formula E race. What was your thoughts on that as a sporting format?
I like it. I think it's a weird name. I'm not sure it's the best they could have picked, but obviously they've done a lot of branding around that Unleashed. Through their, like, if you look at
the
their
Gen 4
packs,
Unleashed,
they called it. Yeah, exactly. So I can see why they did it. As a format, it's interesting, isn't it? Because obviously Formula One tested this over the last 6 seasons that they've been doing sprint formats, and it's always had a bit of a questionable, is it worth doing? Obviously, I think in Formula E, because we already have double headers, then giving the first race a little bit more of a personality, to me, makes sense. And I think, actually, because of the downforce modes, they are going to be completely different races, and I think it is going to complement it. I think, great, we can have the Unleashed race, which is an absolute full send all the way through, and then you've got the pit boost race, which is more the strategy, which comes into what we were talking about in Sanya, how you were counting pit boosts and doing all this like maths. Or I think Unleashed is going to let the drivers, well, it's in the name, I guess, be unleashed.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see what type of racing that we get in those sprint races as well. So I'm looking forward to it. I feel like when I first saw it, I think the purist in me came out, because everyone's a little bit purist, right? And I was like, I don't know if I like that, because it's it's like the sprints in Formula One, right? There's only a handful of them. And I know there will only be a handful of them in Formula E, but more than probably Formula 1, because there's a lot more double headers. But it feels like a completely different championship, right? Because it's going to be a completely different race, right? And there was a lot of rumours at the beginning of the sprint era of Formula 1, should it be a separate championship, should it not be a separate championship, and so forth. Whereas these are all going to be interlinked. What are your views on that? Do you think, it's great that it's going to be part of the same championship, gives it different dynamic, you have to be also good at the sprint races and good at the efficiency races, or do you think maybe it could have easily have been a different, like a 2-type championship kind of thing?
No, I think it's a good idea, because I think already we do pit boost and non-pit boost, and look at Monaco, for example. You get completely different races anyway, and they do feel like races. My worry would be is if this sprint feels like the F1 sprint, where it's kind of pointless. It doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't really add anything to the weekend. It just complicates it. The teams then go, well, actually, it's not worth trying in that one, because if we DNF, we've lost a great potential in qualifying. So I think because they've kept it the same with the quali, then the Unleashed, and then we go to bed, and then we go the quali, and then we go the E-Prix. I think as long as I think they've just branded race 1 and 2. I think that's all they've done, really. They've just made some rules to make sure that it invites a different race. We got that over pit boost anyway, because if you look at the difference we've had in those races, and Saudi for one, obviously Da Costa and then Verline, or the other way around. So I think, to be honest, they've just branded it. I think it's making it more accessible, hopefully, for new fans. So I think it's going down that route. But I just hope that when we watch these sprints, we go, it's not as good as the races, because that would kind of ruin it. Because
the problem we have is, if they can go at full pelt, then where is the energy saving? Where is the chance for overtaking? Does it become a bit more processional? Yeah, great. We get to see how fast these cars go, and I think that is what it's supposed to show. That's what Formula E want. Formula E want to say, look how fast we've just gone around this circuit, right? And look how fast, and the spectacle. It's kind of one for be at the track for the fans, I feel, rather than on the TV, right? Because On the TV, you can't truly appreciate how quick they are. Even Formula One, I feel you can't truly appreciate it. But when you're there in person, you could really appreciate the speed, right? And that's how I think you get hooked. But then at the same time, when we were kids watching Formula One, we just got hooked. So there must be like,
we were watching it on a 4:3 screen. It looked a lot faster on that.
Probably did. It probably did. It probably did. Now
there was less frame rates as well.
you're probably right on that, right? So it's yeah, so it'd be interesting to see. But the final thing before we take calls, because I wanted to just cover all these topics before we got calls in, so then we can talk about everything. Pit boost. Pit boost.
Yes.
Now, this is interesting for me because I don't know what I would like to find out now, this is my question, is how long does it take? Because there's a standard stop. Let's say the standard stop, which gives you 10% of energy, right, recovery. If you just do the standard 10, we know that's 30 seconds, right? Yeah. But what's 15? What's 20? So it's 20 a minute? But would you stay in the pits for a minute to get 20% energy over 10? But then you'd have to make up the 30 seconds of time? Like, that's what I'm interested in now with the pit boost is, right, there is an allotted... Apparently there will be, like, drivers will pick a mode, right? So it might be... it hasn't been fully sort of explained. Maybe we'll get a bit more when Tobias, if he knows any bit more. But let's say there's 5%. You can charge for 5%. It's a shorter pit stop, but you've got to do more energy conservation. You've got the standard 10%, and then the 15%, which is 45 seconds. But if you get 15, you've got 5% extra energy to play with, but you've got to spend an extra 15 seconds in the pit lane. And that's the question I'm really intrigued about. Is it worth stopping for longer in these things potentially to get the benefits back from it, or will the standard normal 10% work out? I think that's my biggest question when it comes to these pit boost alterations and the strategy element that they're trying to play with.
I've not even questioned it because I didn't realise they could have dynamic. I didn't realise they could change how long they stopped for, which has that brought refueling back to a Formula Sport? Because obviously I know they removed it in F1 because it's just dangerous, flammable liquids, but obviously it's a little bit safer and high voltage and whatnot. But it is a lot safer when you've got a pair of rubber gloves on. But yeah, I think that's going to add a strategy to pit stops. And I don't know if we've not mentioned this, Jack, and I don't know if you've noticed, but FE put a post out saying there's going to be designated wet tyres as well.
This we knew about. This we knew about.
Okay, yeah.
So this was widely. This was part of the tenure for the Gen 4, which Bridgestone have got. They had to produce a monsoon tyre. So what we saw in Shanghai with the red flags, because the all-weather tyre couldn't handle it. If it is deemed that super wet, then we now have a monsoon tyre which will stop red flags. Fingers crossed. And
but it'd be interesting to see how they implement that, because it sounds like it's going to be they're going to get to know the track conditions and then tell the drivers you've got to put that tyre on. But it would be interesting if you were like, right, I'm going to do a 30-second stop and slap the monsoon tyre on while I'm there. I guess they wouldn't be able to though.
They're not allowed to. They're allowed to from the rules. It states very clearly no tyre changes are allowed during the pit boost stops. So you can't.
Which I can fully understand.
You can't do that. That is part of the rules. So yeah, that can't happen. I'm just wondering if we can sneak in a call. We might delay Tobias. I know it's half past 8, but we might get one in. Let's get Connor.
Yeah, I think. Let's start off. I'm just gonna have a little waft.
Let's get Connor in. We'll give Connor 5-6 minutes before Mr. Daly, if you can hear us. We've drafted you into the FE bar. If you're not very ready, we'll try and get somebody else in and we'll come back to you. We'll give Connor a second or two. But yeah, as I said, I'm really interested in that. We'll give Connor another chance a little bit later to see. I will then go to Luty. We'll get Luty in.
Maybe
Luty. I hope you can hear us. We've dragged you in. We tried to get Connor in first, but he wasn't quite available, ready yet. So I thought we'd grab you in and get your say on the calendar and the rules and what you think.
Good evening, guys.
Evening.
Quite was quite surprised how big the calendar was. Really,
Yeah.
really surprised. And Zandvoort is on it, so I'm really happy. So that's really nice. And mainly, I think the biggest surprise was the shakeup of the format. It seems way better balanced to me. That first of all, qualification, you get much more points now.
Yep.
For actually performing there, so it's actually a useful session for the championship also, because now it's almost nothing. So that's really good, I think. And the sprint race is also focused on speed of the cars, but also for the drivers, that they don't have to worry about energy modes, blah blah blah, and all that sort of things. So I think it's a much more balanced view of qualities that are now needed.
Yeah.
Compared to currently. So I think that's the biggest improvement of all this, that's now possible. And therefore also hopefully like energy safe races, the people at the back just don't do anything until the end of the race. Hopefully that's a bit gone, at least for the sprint races. That doesn't hopefully work anymore.
Yep.
Hopefully it's actually possible to do the sprint races basically go, and not that it's still, you still need to, because it's like high downforce, it's still 30 minutes, so do you still need to like save energy with the cars, or is it?
Yeah, I think that's
they really go.
There's an element more on regen, isn't there? So I think if we compared it to Gen 3, I think it's going to be completely different in terms of how that car works.
Yeah, because it has 700 kilowatts, right, of regen, right? So it's the regen should be quite powerful, which is probably the saving grace for the sprints, right? Is that the regen is powerful, so it can regen a lot more energy. I have a feeling, right, with the efficiency races, they said 45 minutes at this precise moment, but the race length is like a maximum of 75, right? And if the race is suspended, then it's up to the 3 hours plus 1 lap, which I'm sort of suggesting or hearing maybe that if you think about that logically, it might start these 45-minute roughly, just so we see how we go in season 13, which I don't think it'll be called season 13 anymore. I think it'll just be referred to as the 26-27 season. I don't think many of the drivers were happy with season 13 for the superstitious of one. So
superstitious?
Yeah, so I do think it will not be called season 13. To be honest with you,
that's Joel Eriksson, isn't it?
I think it will go. It will go to the 26-27 season, a bit like how it is in football. But yeah, I think it's really interesting that potentially maybe in the future that, you know, the races might go towards the hour length in those efficiency races, because if they can do half an hour at 600 kilowatts, you think they could do 45 minutes at 450 without too many issues, right?
With a pit boost.
With a pit boost as well. So if they're doing for me, it didn't quite add up, and that's the next interesting thing is, okay, they say 45 minutes, but will it actually stretch out to like a 50-minute race, a 55-minute race, and then slowly, maybe as we get to season 14, it more or less hits the hour.
I wonder though, do they start the cars on the sprints do they start the cars on the Unleashed with 100%, or as they might start them on 80 for the energy conservation races?
So I don't know. It's a really good question. Let's go back to the qualifying format, because you were right in the interest. I suppose, as you were saying, it kind of stops people, like what we saw in Berlin, deciding I'm not going to qualify, and it gives qualify some extra points. And basically now, although pole position has lost a point because it was free, but now it's a 2-point advantage, but you get 5 points for getting on pole effectively.
Yeah, so it's actually a point more, 2 points more then to get pole position.
Correct, but then second place gets like free, doesn't he? So therefore, whereas he never used to get free, did he?
Yeah, but it's much better because it rewards trying in qualifying. So hopefully also even for the energy safe races, people will still try to qualify, because it can be a big disadvantage at this point to be up front in such a race.
Yeah,
and probably still can be in the next gen for those races, but at least you now get a reward for doing that. So yeah, that's much better than I think than currently.
The duels more honourable, doesn't it, as well?
Also, yeah, because now you want a duel, but you don't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
In a way, if you don't get pole position, it doesn't matter.
More points, wouldn't he, as well?
But you start higher up the grid, which does matter, right? Second is better than fifth, right?
No. That's not true.
Okay.
In Formula E, that's totally not true. It can be much better starting 5th than starting at pole position.
Or I said second though.
Or second. But it's not an advantage at this point. Some races it will be, but some races it isn't.
And I think that's the interesting thing, right? I really do. I think that, how, in terms of how these cars are going to be and how they're going to race and what type of racing we'll get to see, how important those extra points are in qualifying, because especially when we do the sprint qualifying and so forth, because I just think it's going to be incredible on those Saturdays, and seeing how those points actually mean something, or how they mean something, I think is really important. But just to end it, because we've got Tobias, and I do want to try my hardest to keep the time. Zandvoort, 100% that you're looking forward to on the calendar itself. Are there any other races that you're looking forward to out of the new ones? We go to Austin, Brands Hatch, or is there anything or any other tracks that you're like, okay, I'm interested to see how the Gen 4 works around this circuit?
Definitely. I'm surprised Senya's on it, but that's a different topic, probably. But
they say they're going to make some alterations though to Sanya. That there will be some alterations that are made to it.
It feels unrepairable, to be fair. But if you look at the new tracks, I would say COTA is going to be interesting, because that must be a very shortened version of the track, because I don't see how that is. We'll see what version that will be. But I'm looking much forward to Zandvoort. I think the full circuit of Zandvoort should have been possible in Gen4, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it then. But I think that track should be really good for racing with those sorts of cars, with some bit of energy saving here and there.
Just quickly on Zandvoort. So it kind of surprised me. I was like, oh, the 18th of June is a Friday. So
what the hell?
We're going to be having a Friday evening race, and apparently, according to Racing News 365 and our good friend Nick Golding, there's going to be some sort of festival surrounding
I'm very
that
skeptical
day.
so far.
What do you make of that?
Are we going, Jack?
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not really a big fan of this, to be fair. I think Saturday, Sunday would be much better. It's also what people expect for a race weekend to be. So if casuals are thinking about a race weekend, they're not thinking of Friday probably. Also, if you want to get people watching or getting to a track weekend, would be much better, really. But if it's an evening, maybe it will work. And if they get it in because also somebody else dropped that it will be prime time, so that assumes it will be an evening race, so that would be good.
It definitely will be an evening race.
It's good to try it, I think, and they have the Dutch GP organizers on board, so that's good. I just hope they will get it on a TV channel that's a bit bigger than what's currently on, so that they can get a bit of the hype from being in the Netherlands, getting people to watch that it's in the Netherlands. That would be really good if they can manage to do that. Then it would really help bringing the sport forward.
I hope so too. It's a big year for Formula E. It is a humongous year for Formula E. So, but yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully, I will see you in Zandvoort. I'll probably see you before that anyway.
Definitely.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one as well. But I've now got to try and get away from work a little bit earlier when it comes to that, because it's on a Friday and I want to see what this festival's like. But then I need to find out how I'm going to get back from Zandvoort to Amsterdam if this festival's like an all-night thing. Make sure
that's also a good point, but trains are normally fairly good.
So fingers crossed on that one. All right then, Luti, thank you so much for coming on.
Okay.
And we'll speak to you soon.
Yes, have fun. Good evening. Bye.
Bye. And we'll get our special guest for this evening, the man who's been tracking the calendar just as well as all the other amazing journalists that cover this amazing series that we all love. It is Tobias Wirtz from eFormula News, eFormula DE, our German correspondents. How are we, Tobias?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very good. It's lovely to hear your voice. I missed you on Monday.
I'm sorry, but it was not possible for me on Monday.
It's okay.
Sorry, guys.
It's all right. Well, we'll get your views on Sanya towards the end, but let's just crack straight in with the calendar. Obviously, I know you were working. I want to start with Austin, because I don't think that was on anyone's radar. Like that one seemed to do really well. What did you know about that one, and so forth? Let's start off with Austin, because Brands Hatch, Zandvoort was kind of in the open, but Austin just out of nowhere.
No, that's not true.
Oh, not quite. According to the man with the sources. Go on then, tell us some more.
Yeah, we already wrote something about it back in April it was, but unfortunately we were forced to put it offline again.
Okay, it was one of those, so I missed it.
Yes, so yeah, it was not a big surprise.
Okay.
The only surprise really was Sanya, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I heard they will be able to do some changes to the racetrack because the race was interesting, let's say it that way, but from my point of view, it was a not very good racetrack, and I don't think that this racetrack will suit the Gen 4 car much better than the Gen 3
Did you not
cars.
get any nostalgia from like old Formula E races? Because I honestly think I had a lot of nostalgia of old Formula E races and old Formula E street circuits, and I kind of liked it.
Yeah, difficult.
Tobias is like, I hate it.
Do you think they were expecting the Gen 3 to be better at Sanya, and then going into Gen 4 thought, if it's good for Gen 3, it's going to be good for Gen 4, and then obviously we've had Gen 3 and it's a bit like, whoa.
Maybe they expected the drivers to be better for the track, maybe race control. I'm not sure.
Give them
So
a
many
break,
so many slaps on the wrist. But yeah, I think it was an interesting calendar, record-breaking 21 races, and as we were talking about at the top of the show, like maybe for once Formula E at a really important time, you know, with Austin, with Miami, with Mexico, and the races in Saudi Arabia, like we'll get a really good start to the season to try and drum up interest for the rest of the championship. Do you think that's super important?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Formula E is doing some new thing, let's say it that way. They do the preseason testing on the track where they will be racing during the season. I know they did it in the COVID season too with Valencia, but in a regular season that's the first time.
Yep.
I'm not sure because let's say it that way, it's the first Gen 4 season, and especially the customer teams don't have much experience when going to preseason testing. And from my point of view, this is a really big advantage for the non-customer teams, for the factory teams.
Yep.
And I expect that Nissan, Jaguar, Porsche will be very, very strong in the Madrid races because they have so much experience with the cars when doing the preseason test that they can focus on performance during the preseason test already, where the customer teams have to do the basic stuff during preseason testing, at least the first 1, 2, 3 sessions, I think.
Yeah. To be fair, that's a really good point that the manufacturers could get that early advantage at the beginning of the season. Let's talk about some of the rules as well, because we also got the sporting regulations out, and we got E-Prix Unleashed. What did you know about that? How do you think that's going to run? What have you found out?
Okay, I think you mentioned the things already.
Okay, good. We're on the right lines. That's excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. But from my point of view, I'm not sure that the Unleashed races will be flat-out races.
Okay.
Because pit boost is missing, so the cars will have less energy, and they're using the high downforce package, so the energy consumption will be much higher. And I'm not sure if the difference between 30 and 45 minutes will be enough that the cars are able to go full throttle during the whole race. So I think we will see energy saving too in the Unleashed races. At least a little bit. I don't know how this will work out. Maybe just the first 3 or 4 laps doing a lower pace and then flat out until the end, possibly.
Yeah.
But we have to wait and see, I think.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that, because when I saw the timings, you think, well, if they can do a flat-out race or a sprint race in terms of at 600, then 450 should be fine. But you're probably right, because you have to be right, because it just doesn't, mathematically, it doesn't make sense.
Exactly, and they got 6 minutes of attack mode in the Unleashed races, compared to 8 minutes of attack mode during the normal E-Prix. This makes it even more difficult to go flat out the whole 30 minutes.
Yeah, and I suppose for this to work, right, you can't, if they came out and said, right, E-Prix Unleashed, your Saturday race, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be 20 minutes long, right, I don't think a lot of people were going to be very happy about that. I think it had to be a minimum of 30 minutes. So yeah, it kind of makes sense that we probably will see some energy management, especially in the early eras, I would say, early seasons of Gen 4, as the car works its way up. The only thing I think is really interesting, and I know you were mentioning it in chat, was pit boost, because we talked about the pit boost strategy, and now there's this new how longer stops means you get more energy. Then I also show them shorter stops, you get shorter energy, but it's that time saved in the pits. What do you know about that? Because that, when I saw that, as I said, it intrigued me. That was like, how is this going to work? Is it going to be beneficial to take a longer stop, or is it going to be beneficial to take a shorter stop and try and save energy, but you win back the time from being less stopped in the pit lane?
I think that will depend. It will depend on the track. For example, track position has sometimes a bigger importance than in other tracks. I'm not sure if there will be longer stops. I think the drivers will get the possibility to have a shorter stop to get less energy. As far as I know, the pit boost chargers will work with 600 kilowatts of power again.
Yep.
So that means, because of the bigger battery the cars have, that a 30-second stop will recharge about 7.5% of the total energy. And from my understanding, there will be 2 or maybe 3 different settings the drivers can choose between. For example, 6%, 8%, and 4%. To recharge during a pit stop. Then the pit stop times will be 30 seconds, 22 seconds, and 15 seconds, something like that. And this is the thing the drivers can choose. To be honest, it was an idea that I already had when pit was introduced. I think it's a good idea to give the drivers more strategic options.
Yep.
If everybody has to do a 30-second pit stop, then in terms of strategy, this doesn't change anything.
Yep.
Yeah. Everybody has to stay as long in the pits as any other driver has. So probably we will see different strategies because of this, and I hope the drivers will do different strategies.
Yep.
Maybe they will be doing the maths before and knowing, this strategy will be the fastest, and everyone does the same strategy again. But I hope there will be some differences on the track where it's not so easy to overtake, that a driver that's far behind makes a really early pit stop and just a tiny amount of energy, and so he gets track position and has to defend against cars that are behind him that have more energy left. I think this could be interesting, especially in combination with attack mode. But I think we have to wait and see what the FIA decides. As far as I know, the FIA will decide this from race to race.
Yep.
So there will be not one version for the whole season. They will change it for every race.
Nice. A bit like how they wanted to do that with attack mode a little bit and so forth in the past. But let's talk about attack mode actually, because do you think it's going to be as powerful? Because it's going to be 600 kilowatts. So in the normal races, let's go back to normal races, where it's 450 kilowatts of power for the race mode. 600 kilowatts. We've seen how powerful attack mode has been in this season, and even in Sanya with Jake Dennis. I think attack mode is potentially going to be even more powerful next season, because I think these cars at 600 kilowatts are going to be an absolute beast, and that having that power for the time, I think it's 8 minutes for that race. So it's just going to be
but
insane.
then Jack, it is there. I think comparing, I could be wrong here, but Gen 3 cars only did all wheel in attack mode, as Gen 4 is all wheel versus all wheel. So because that was one of my big concerns, was if they're always all wheel, are we going to have that traction difference out of the corners?
Yeah, it's a good point. So it might be a bit similar to Gen 2 a little bit, where it wasn't as powerful. Maybe. What do you think, Tobias?
I think that the difference will be less than at the moment. It also will depend much on the track. For example, in Sanya, we had a really, really big difference between 300 kilowatts and 350 kilowatts of power, more than 2 seconds. We have some racetracks where it's about 1 second, maybe 1.2 seconds. And I think this will be the same in Gen 4 too. Of course, it depends on the tires, for example. Just throw back to Season 9 and Season 10.
Yep.
Their attack mode was no big difference, despite being 50 kilowatts of power more, because the tires were not able to get the power on the ground. And without the all-wheel drive, you had no better traction. This will be same with the Gen 4. You have the same number of wheels that put the power to the ground, have all-wheel drives all the time. 150 kilowatts of power should be useful, of course, especially on long straights. I'm not sure if the cars have that much traction out of the corner to be quicker with 600 kilowatts. I think this will of course depend on the tires, on the track temperature, something like that. What you haven't mentioned already, the tires in the rain. We get new rain tires from Bridgestone. But in wet races, we will have attack mode too. So will it be an advantage to have 600 kilowatts of power in the rain with the wet tires? Nobody knows, to be honest. And I think that's something that will be interesting to see.
I'm going to take an early bet is that we'll never know. There's going to be no rain next season. Watch. Despite everything, those races. Can you imagine? Last thing I have to talk to you, though, before we go, because I think it's massively important, and obviously another well done on you, because sticking strong that Berlin will be at Tempelhof with the contract and so forth, and it has happened. It is at Tempelhof. With the year extension, and I know you said it was possibility to go to 2030. What do you know on that? How big is it? How important is it for Germany or for Formula E in itself that we've stayed in Berlin?
I think for Formula E, it's a statement. Berlin is the only track, the only city that's in the race calendar started from season 1. So for Formula E, it's important to stay in Berlin. The big advantage of the Tempelhof area is that they are fully flexible to adjust the racetrack to the needs of Formula E, and I really, really hope they will, because they have so many options on this big big surface there, and I'm a bit disappointed what they did during the last 5-6 years there. to be honest. There would be more possibilities. They didn't use it, and I hope this will change in Gen 4, and they will do a really, really interesting track. But my crystal ball is not working at the moment, so I'm not sure if we'll see this already next year.
But
so
we have to expect a
wait
better
and see.
track than what we've got currently, because one, it was under a minute for the Gen 3, so there's no way the Gen 4s can do that track. So fingers crossed.
I think we will see a longer track. I'm not sure why they shortened it. If I remember correctly, the
original
first track layout 2 years ago on the new configuration was 400 meters longer. They shortened 2 straights to get it shorter. I'm not sure why they did it, but I hope they will not repeat it in Gen 4, to be honest, because on this track the lap times will be about 47-48 seconds.
Yep.
That's too short,
Too short
from my point of view.
It is.
Yeah, we
100%.
learned that from Miami, didn't we? And I think the rain saved that race, because that would have been too fast.
Yeah.
Yes, and it causes some other kind of problems. When doing pit boosts, you will be a lap down, and then you have lapped cars around the pack at the front. So this just will confuse the people more than it's useful from my point of view.
And the race will just get incredibly messy. Tobias, thank you so much for coming on and giving us your insight to everything on the calendar and the rules. And yeah, I think we're in for a really exciting Gen 4 era, I hope.
Hope so. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. We'll speak to you soon. Anytime, Tobias.
Perfect.
All right. See you later.
See you. Bye.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Especially around pit boost and everything. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to get 1 or 2 calls in, and then we'll take a small break at 9. We'll hear from what Jack Smith had to say from Motorsport Week, which is just a 2-minute little VT, and then we'll go straight into the rest of your calls. So if you're in the waiting room, if you want to join the waiting room, you still can. We're going to try and get through as many calls the second hour. Thank you for those who signed up for the first hour and didn't quite get on, but we will come to you. I'm trying my best. I may have also slightly forgotten the order, but we'll make it.
It's warm, Jack.
We're all it's warm. But we're gonna do Connor, then we'll take a break. Hello, Connor. You can hear us
Hello.
now. Hello. How
I'm
are
here.
we?
I turned on my mic permissions.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I was gonna say always a little gremlin somewhere. It happened to me in the last show. You know, I haven't done this in 2 shows. Connor, Carl's mic was working. Mine wasn't, and I found that out as soon as I unswitched it off. Figured it was all working, and I thought I didn't test this. So there was a brief.
As well.
There was a brief 2 seconds while the music's playing where I'm like, turn the mic on from the properties of the thing, and then off we went. But hopefully you didn't notice it too much watching the show. The calendar, the rules. What did you make of it? What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? What would you like to talk about?
Well, I a little bit on the calendar. I do like the length. Pause.
Nice.
But I do fear that we might not be going to Jeddah, and I think they may have strategically put Jeddah first, so it's an easier break, just because of current world events.
Yeah,
It kind of looks like WEC aren't maybe going to Saudi or not Saudi, Qatar or Bahrain at the end of the season, and it's also kind of maybe looking like we're going to have a very European Asian Le Mans series. So I don't think we're going to Jeddah, which would bring it down to 19, which I think it might still be a record.
Still be a record. But you know what Formula E is like? They like saying they have a record, and then all of a sudden it's no longer a record. They've done that.
Formula One tried for years to have like 24 race calendar, and it's like always something happened, and a race got cancelled, and it was like, So that,
Yeah. No, well, current affairs. I feel like they are slightly getting better, but we'll have to see where we are but the decision will probably have to be made by pre-season testing, because by November, obviously, probably before preseason testing, because you've got to decide where you're shipping these containers to after where they go in these cars. So I'm assuming that it will all get sorted out, but fingers crossed we go, because
fingers crossed.
like even myself, if I could try and get to Jeddah Like I would, because to be at the first race of the Gen 4 era would be just massive. If I don't make it, I don't make it. But you know, it's still like you kind of want to be there, ready for that first race and to get it underway. And I think again, it's just an important time. Formula One's finished. They've strategically done this, so it's after the reason why it's that weekend is because it doesn't clash with Formula One in Abu Dhabi where we normally clash. We can't do the next weekend because that's the prize giving. So you had to do that 18th and 19th weekend. So that's why we're there, and it's like, well, everything's finished from 2026 and we're going to start our season the following week. So it's like, you may think Motorsport's over, but we're here. And I just think, you know, hopefully for Formula E's sake, it's the perfect start. You know, everyone will be wearing their Christmas hats and, you know, watching Formula E.
I love a good Christmas crown. Paper crown from a cracker.
Yeah, and and you're pretending you're the next Saudi prince winning the race.
Exactly.
Eh?
But I also did say that if Formula E ever went to Zandvoort, I would be going. So I will be seeing you in the Netherlands.
Yeah, I've got to make sure that I get there. I'm intrigued by this festival.
I'm intrigued by this quote-unquote festival as well.
I wonder if, Jack, you could get a ferry, though, and just scrap the whole baggage thing again.
Maybe.
I'm kind of thinking I might just take the Eurostar from London.
You could to Amsterdam.
That goes to Amsterdam. And then
5-hour journey, though.
It's the experience, though, isn't it? I went to an abroad race on the Euro, and he said the tube then.
On the tube.
That would be impressive.
Up the tube. 5 hours versus 45 minutes. I think I'd rather 45 minutes.
Well, no, because if you count check-in time and getting your beer at the, I don't.
Still quicker than the train. Still quicker. Still quicker though, isn't it? It's still quicker. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Zandvoort. I was a bit like, it's on a Friday. Just for me personally, getting there might be a bit more of a challenge, but I'm trying to put things in place already to try and make sure that I have a better chance of getting to most of the races for the media day on
Just come to the E-Prix. You can leave the Unleashed out there. They might be entertaining.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? What did you make of the sporting format?
I'm unsure because it feels like the problem with Formula E is that we need longer races, and we may have slightly gone in the other direction because it does sometimes feel like you get to the end of a race and it's like, oh, that could have been another 10-15 minutes, and now we're taking 10-15 minutes off the top.
Point though, because I think what makes a Formula E day is the fact that we do qualifying 4 hours before. So I already think it's quite a long day when you start that early. So that's why I don't kind of mind the distance. I get your point, but I just think because we do a lot on one day, it would be a lot for the drivers.
Yeah.
I guess I'm also intrigued as to see whether or not the racing will be good. I'm not sure because I feel like, you know, the cars are slightly bigger this year. They're going to have more downforce, which produces more dirty air. For at least for the sprint. I'm going to call it a sprint. I can't be bothered to call it Unleashed. So I'm interested because if we get to round, like, I don't know, Unleashed round 3 or something.
Yep.
And all of them have just been trains of cars running just nose to tail because nobody can really overtake because they're all going flat out. And there's so much like dirty air and whatnot, then you might get a bit tired of it by the end of the season. But you never know. It might be awesome.
We're not going to really know because it's Jeddah, which is in December, and then it's 6 rounds to then Berlin, and then it's Monaco. And Berlin and Monaco are very weird circuits.
Yes.
For you know what I mean, but so it will be interesting. But hey, if we're sick of the Unleashed format by Berlin, then there is a problem.
Yeah. Then there is a problem. I would have to agree. Yeah, we don't want that. I suppose you also got the quality points and pit boost. Like, are you intrigued by pit boost and this strategy element that has come out?
Yes, I definitely think there's more room. The fact they're trying to implement some more ways to do strategy is good because, I mean, with pit boost coming in, it was a bit of strategy of like when do you pit, and being able to choose your time of how long to pit. I do fear that we might come into a situation where just taking the least amount of time every race will just be the quickest way to do it.
Yeah.
Because I think if you look at I remember looking. I think it was after the first pit boost race, and I don't remember fully what the time, because I had a look at the time difference between the first race and the second race, and I remember the pit boost race being longer.
Yeah.
By like substantially, but I don't remember if it was like because there was like a safety car or something in it. So I don't remember. But I can.
Yeah.
But I'm worried
if length of pit lane would come into it as
Yeah.
well. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
you,
but
It's kind of like a 2-stop, 1-stop, 3-stop, 2-stop type race, right? I think that's what we're going to say. And who's going to be brave? And it's kind of like, right, do I take the long one and do a Lewis Hamilton in Barcelona, where he went, not this season, but a couple of seasons ago, where he had to go flat out in the Mercedes to catch Max and so forth, and he caught Max and overtook him, and it's one of those. It's like, because if you think, all right, I'm not going to take my attack mode, right? I'm going to do a long pit boost, get 12% extra energy, the maximum energy I can get, right? And then I'm going to go straight into attack mode. So I don't have to lift. I can literally spend that 12% going as fast as I can, right, in the attack mode to make the strategy work. That, in a sense, is where the longer one might work. Is, all right, I'm sitting in 5th, right? 5th's no good to me. My championship rivals are a couple. I can fall back a couple positions. I'll probably get back to 5th, but can I catch them, right, by doing this strategy? So it's one of those for me that, can that strategy element sort of play in? And I think that's what intrigues me the most, is how much can you gain by going longer. But then, as Tobias said, it might not be longer.
Have a situation where you go in and take a, 30-second long pit boost, or however long the longest one is going to be, and then you come out and then a safety car hits, and you might be slightly further down the field.
I think that's just lucky though, isn't it?
But actually, if you took a longer pit boost and a safety car happens, that's a
longer one.
That's brilliant. You're happy days.
You're getting that time back.
Yeah, you're happy days. Happy days, because
I could definitely see drivers, because I know we see it nowadays, where it's like if you get that's also something, because I feel like with penalties, you always serve them in the next race, but the next race might be a 30-minute race and not a full race. So I wonder if they're going to change it to be like, if you get a penalty for like changing parts or something, you might take it at the next full race.
Yeah.
Rather than, but anyway. But but you see drivers who take those penalties, they'll sit at the back, gain all their energy, take their pit boost, put even more energy in, and then if they hit that safety car, they're going to be sat on 20% extra energy.
But you're gambling. You're gambling on that safety.
You are gambling, but I mean, at that point, you're going to be 20
there's
seconds
also
behind.
There's also the play of I'll save energy, take the short pit boost, and try and get that time back in the pit lane that I've lost going back. So to try and equal out your race, depending on where you are, it's going to be fascinating.
That's what it is. Strategy makes races fun. You don't always need on-track action to make things fun.
Oh, 100%.
Off-track action can be fun as well.
I feel like I need to try and message Albie Lau, now that we're good friends with him at Formula E Zone, and try and see if we can get him on the bar.
He's gonna get so many bonuses.
So many bonuses, because he'd be the one telling us right now what these kind of strategies and how they would work and how they would play out. So I think he's
and importantly, not Google Gemini.
Not Google Gemini. An actual human being. Yeah. Right, Connor, I'm gonna have to cap it there because the waiting room is actually quite full. The waiting room is full, and we've got an hour. And we've got to try to take a break because we do need to take a mandatory World Cup.
Hydration break. No, I'm still free. We've got aircon at home. So
you're lucky. I'm in a sauna. Basically, it might as well be. Connor, absolutely brilliant to hear from you, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon. And we'll see you later.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a brief hydration break. A couple of minutes. I don't even have a water, so I think I'm going to go grab I think I'm going to get a water. So if you're in the waiting room, you're definitely going to get on. Don't panic. I know some of you booked 8 o'clock, but I kind of remember who booked 8 o'clock, and I'll get you on ASAP, and then we'll filter through. If you still want to get on though in the second hour, still join, but it just means we'll just be a bit more rapido in the second half of the show when you're on. But we will try and give you all of these decent amount of time. We'll be back in about 3 minutes, because that is the official length of a hydration break. And we are back. So what we're going to do first, before we take your calls, is we're just going to hear a little bit from Jack Smith from Motorsport Week. I didn't do his lower third. I don't think I've got time to do that because I was too busy getting myself a nice, refreshing glass of water. Very good. But we're going to hear from we're going to hear from Jack Smith right now. So it's only a 2-minute little VT. So, and we'll hear what he has to say on the new rules and the new calendar.
The release of the Formula E calendar and its new sporting format heralds a new dawn for the championship, and for the most part it means one thing: business. FE's propensity to rail against comparisons to Formula 1 and then compare aspects of itself to Formula 1 have sometimes felt masochistic in the past, but the inclusion of some classic F1 circuits to supplement its existing one in Harama is, in general, a positive one in my view, dovetailing some tracks cemented in the glory days of F1, but now seeing action from the future of single-seater racing. But my concern primarily lies with COTA. The seemingly Valium-injected lack of atmosphere in Miami this year was a cause for concern, so how it markets its first jaunt to Texas is without a doubt a big challenge, as is circuit configuration. No matter which one you choose, the battery-sapping climb towards Turn 1 spells a problem. But let's focus on the positives. Brands Hatch is without a doubt a really positive move, even if it is being disguised as London. Its infrastructure is going to make things a squeeze, but be in no doubt, the racing on show on its Grand Prix circuit promises to be mightily fun with the Gen 4 cars. Zandvoort likewise will offer something appealing and potentially groundbreaking in its move towards more purpose-built circuits, but like COTA, it will have to go some way to appeal to the Dutch, a country not particularly known for its Formula E enthusiasm. The way it has broken up the calendar by visiting the Americas and then Europe and then Asia at the end does show some much needed logic, which can only spell positivity along with the new sporting format. The prospect of E-Prix Unleashed means that tracks where the car might still show some shortcomings with battery capacity and the like means that its biggest attributes can be conveyed to the paying punters in full view. Whilst we may be subjected to some more peloton racing, this means that there will be plenty of action that non-endemic fans will be able to understand via actually just enjoying some rawness from the car. The Gen 4 era is naturally not going to begin with the smoothest journey, but what we know now promises a destination that could see Formula E make its biggest leap yet towards the mainstream of motor racing.
Very voiceover from our friend Jack Smith there. But there was a couple of pointers actually I just wanted to bring up about. So there was two things really. He said about peloton style races that we might still see some peloton style races, and he was a bit worried about Austin being a bit energy zappy, and again obviously will be leading to some of those peloton style races. So what did you make on what Jack said there?
I think he raises some very valid points. Obviously, elevation at Austin is kind of one of its key elements. That first up the hill is obviously quite steep. It's probably one of the biggest inclines we have in that grade of circuit. So yeah, I do think it's interesting.
I do,
but whether the regen will come into it is another question. About when they go up, what must come up must come down.
Yeah.
So.
But the thing is, they could save the energy again, because when they go down, they can just lift off and so forth to sort of like negate the energy that has come from that. But I thought it was very interesting, and thank you for Jack for giving us a little bit of your time, because he couldn't be here because he is travelling to Austria. So he's probably at the airport right now going to Austria for the Formula 1. But wanted, again, it's amazing how people just want to have their say. And that's what VS has done, because VS is here. He was here earlier, and I wanted to get him. Oh, he's gone. He's disappeared. He's dropped out. I don't know what's happened there. I don't know. Let's try him one more time. Come back. We'll give him another go. No, he said it. He's not ready. Not ready. So we'll give Dreamcat, who came on, Thierry, who came on first time caller on Monday. God, it's now Wednesday.
Was
back
it Switzerland?
here.
Was it Switzerland?
Yeah, from Switzerland. Thierry from Switzerland. Right.
Hi, there we go.
Hello, how are we? Hope you're well. You dealing with
Good.
the heat okay in Switzerland? Is all okay?
It's still hot.
It's still hot. It's still hot.
Yeah, it's supposed to cool down by next week, I think. But till then, it's still like 35 degrees out.
Yep. That's why we're dying in London and dying in the UK. But obviously, the calendar, right? Got to speak about the calendar. What did you make of it and the new rules? What was your first impressions?
Um, and honestly, it sounds kind of cool with the new locations, especially Zandvoort.
Yep.
Um, I don't know why, but I was kind of surprised to see Jeddah being the first race.
Yeah, I think with current affairs for sure, but I think everybody's hopeful on that we'll be in a better place come
Yeah.
December. And yeah, I think Saudi Arabia, I think Jeddah, they've done a lot of to try and spent a bit of money to try and get that first race.
I was going to say, do you think it was paid?
Yeah.
Do you think that was
Yeah,
all?
I do think
That's
there's
all part of the deal.
I all think that's part of the deal for sure. So I do think just to get on there, just to say that they're supposed to be the first race is important, and probably contractually also important. So Zandvoort, you said Zandvoort. Is that like, because I know you said you were in Switzerland? Is that a race that's tickled your fancy that you think I could travel to that one? I might try and go to that one.
I mean, I'd have to look at how much the tickets would actually cost, but I think it would be pretty feasible to get up there.
We got a festival. We got a festival, Thierry. We'll see you, right, on the dance floor in Zandvoort, right, in the festival, mate. Right, that's what we're all looking forward to, I think. Do you do dancing? Come on, Thierry. You're a dancer. You are a dancer, right? I can just
Not
tell.
really.
I could just tell. Right, you're amazing on the dance floor.
Enthusiasm.
Love it.
No,
Love
I'm
it.
way too shy for that shit.
Well, careful with the swearing. But what type of? I could see you that dance music. Was it? I don't know what it is. What's the dance? I feel like electro dance music. Is that EDM? Is that what that is called? I don't know.
Martin Garrix and that lot.
Garage and so forth. I had a feeling Thierry's be there, just be nodding his head right at the festival in Zandvoort. But no. It'll be good. I'm looking forward to Zandvoort as well. And as I said, I'm very curious of what this festival is. Apparently, it's got a 3-year contract, so so we'll be at Zandvoort for a couple of years. Whether or not it will coincide with this festival thing happening every Friday before the race is still questionable or unconfirmed, and so it might go to a Saturday, Sunday in future seasons. But for this season, it is a festival. What did you make on the new rules? We saw with Pit Boost, the E-Prix Unleashed. What are you looking forward to in terms of the Gen 4 era that you've seen and read about?
I was honestly kind of surprised to see like the sprint format sort of that we made for the double headers. But yeah, I feel like
Do you think it'll be good?
Probably a cool showcase to show what the cars can really do.
Yeah.
And then on the next day, just a sort of regular race with all the strategy bits and stuff.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. I think that Formula E wanted something, right? They didn't want just qualifying, right, to show off how quick these cars are. They wanted something else. They wanted that race format. They needed something, because qualifying is great, all right, but then we don't see it as much in the race. But now we've got a specific race, right, where Formula E this is where these cars are performing at the best quality, and they might have to do a little bit of energy saving, like Tobias said, right, but 90% of that race, they're flat out, and I think that's what Formula E want to show off, and then the drivers, a bit like your Dan Ticktums of this world, right, and the drivers that maybe not liked the peloton style of racing, maybe have not got on with it too well. This is their chance to show what we are a good racer. We can qualify at the front, be at the front, overtake with the pace when everything's like a standard like motorsport race, because I don't know if you can call Formula E a standard motorsport race.
Yeah.
No. Pico would never say yes, would he?
No, Pico would never say yes. Right, but you're excited. Most importantly, for Thierry, as we'll before we move on.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Thank you so much for coming back on there, Thierry. Massive appreciation, and thank you. Hopefully this is it. This is the start now. You see, he got the bug. He's got the FE bar bug. Yeah. Right, he's done one show, and he's like, yeah, I loved it. Right, back on the next show. He's done another good job. Happy days. Right, we'll see you later,
Shaking
Thierry.
next
Right,
week,
right.
wanted to come on.
Shanghai, we'll see you there. All right.
2 weeks though.
Right,
Yeah.
see you later. All right.
See you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Right, we'll try VS again. He's back in. VS,
Yeah.
and I know he's in India, so at times, you know, he probably wants to go to bed. Right, obviously might have been some issues. Fingers crossed it may be solved because he jumped back out, jumped back in again. So we'll give him a couple of seconds. But yeah, there is just like so much to look forward to, Carl, in terms of next season. But I think VS might be with us. VS, are you with us? Can you hear us? I heard his mic because I heard like a little, you know, like on the feedback, like he was watching the stream. So I heard something. The anticipation. Oh, it was a little green. Oh.
Hello.
Hello, we've got you. Hello. How are we?
I am good. How are you folks
Yeah,
doing?
thank
I
you.
think I'm really excited.
Yeah, what did you make of the calendar? What did you make of the rules? Get straight into it.
Oh yeah, I think for sure when I was listening to all of you talking, I was listening to Toby, Jack, and all that. But then I think there's one thing that two things that really crossed my mind after I sat down to have a look at the calendar itself. One of them is Formula E going to more permanent circuits. Because I am someone who's always wanted that to happen. I've always envisioned that happening at some point in the future, where we go to more iconic circuits, maybe more circuits where F1 goes to, you get better racing. And I was a big fan when Formula E went to Harama.
Yeah.
I did not know what it would produce, but then it was an absolute banger that I'm really happy for that.
It was
I'm just happy.
brilliant.
Yeah, I'm just happy that more circuits are back like that. We've got a more even split.
Indeed.
Can I ask, obviously, you're in India and there isn't a home race for Mahindra. Where would you go if you had pick of the draw? Because it'll be interesting to see, as someone who doesn't have a local E-Prix, which one you'd go to, out of just pure because you want to.
You mean to say in India itself, right?
No, I just mean out of the calendar we've got, which one would you go to as an Indian fan? Obviously, you don't have a local race.
Oh, yeah.
Money's not an object here.
Right.
Just where would you go? Which race would you want to go to?
I think it would be Brands Hatch number one, because I've always wanted to go to a UK race, experience it. And second on that would be Harama. Third, Zandvoort. Might be a bit biased by what we saw in Harama this year, so yeah.
To be fair, you're going to be disappointed. Like, I loved it. I fell in love with the place. Like, I'm gutted I can't go testing, but it means I can do some content from home. While the team from Formula E GEN will be out there, because people will still be out there, it just won't be me. But yeah, I can't wait. Like, in terms of like.
Me too. Yeah.
Like, I think I've been really, really excited. What have you made of the new rules and so forth? What have you, the E-Prix Unleashed, pit boost strategies, points in qualifying for the duels? Like, what have you made on that?
Okay. If I have to think back to it, I'm not sure how the Unleashed format will work. But if I just looked at it from a basic point of view, I'm like, okay, maybe drivers can push more flat out. But we've got to see how that works out.
Yeah.
But the thing that actually most impresses me is that they're giving out points in qualifying. I don't know. I've always been a fan of Formula E's duels qualifying format.
Yeah.
It's incredibly competitive. It's like, there's points where you see drivers separated by like 1 millisecond. That is intense. Imagine they're fighting for a point, an extra point.
And it's one
I saw it.
millisecond that separates it.
It's going to make working out if who can win the championship very difficult, though, isn't it? If you're, two races from the end and you're like, well, Cassidy only needs 56 points, and you're like, well, if he gets to the second round of the duels, wins the race and fastest lap, you know what I mean?
Exactly. He might get pole. He might get. What is it now? I think they're going to get 5 points. Is it 4 or 5?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I have just thought, though, how bad would it be if we had a championship lead of like, I don't know, let's just theoretically say 30 points, and the driver only needed 2 to win the championship, and he did it by getting into the second round of the duels.
Would be a bit anticlimactic.
I didn't think about that. All he needs to do is qualify 7th, off, and he's the world champion.
Yeah, that it would be a bit anticlimactic in that case. But I mean, just sort of thinking of it, it just adds another variable, Like, okay, you've got 21 qualifying sessions. You get what, 5 points for pole position?
Yeah,
so
correct.
That's an additional 105 championship points. That could make a whole new championship out of it. And
then it's only. Let's say you finish pole. I know this is like ridiculous, right? You finish on pole in every race, but then the person who's second in your championship finishes second in every qualifying session, right? Then you've only actually gained 42 points, right? It's a lot of points, right? But it's basically it's 2 points from second place. So yeah, the only difference I find from it is it's 3 points, and it's 3 points on everybody, whereas now it's only 2 points on on everybody max, right? With maybe 3 on others and 4 on others. So it is good for the ones lower down, but if you're second, you've only gained 2 points. So I don't know if that's like a little less special for pole or more special for pole. I think overall it works out more special for pole because I think you gain more points over more competitors. But obviously there's one competitor where you get less. So it's only one out of how many we've got. So it's not too bad.
True, I think a fair play there. I think it also forces drivers to maybe consider taking qualifying a little bit more seriously, because we saw that in Berlin where a couple of drivers stayed back and opted to save tires for the race. But I don't know, maybe this might push them to.
Yeah, but winning the race because you have better tyres is still going to appeal over getting 5 points in the championship.
Oh, but I think 5 points is good. I think would you rather have 5 points and then just make the best of it? I think I'd rather have 5 points.
Oh yeah, I just like to see things from both angles. I wasn't very happy with Berlin with the way that they deliberately sacked it off, so I think they need to find a way of fitting it. Another thing I was going to mention earlier was obviously being able to choose how much energy you take. Could that counter the whole Stoffel Van Dorn Tokyo incident under the red flag? Is there an opportunity to sort of rectify that in Formula E?
I'm not sure about that exactly.
Yeah, it'd be interesting though. It'd be interesting to see if it does have any implications, because you can go longer, you can take more energy. I just think the pit boost thing is fascinating, and I really, really, really want to learn more on that, because I think it could have the potential to just open things up like dramatically, but it all depends on how quickly you get the charge.
Yeah, I think I'm to add on to that. I'm really curious to see what Formula E does. Like, I was listening to Toby list out the possibilities, and I was like, hey, hold on, there's quite a lot more strategy to think of here that I may have not realized.
Yeah, no.
Is it too much though? Because
too much as well, maybe. But
well, I'm just thinking, because Formula E was simple when I started watching. You had attack mode. There wasn't even pit boost. Or there was, but it hadn't even been invented yet. But it was just attack mode, and it was really easy to understand. But now you've got all these extra, power modes, charge times. I don't know. Is it going to be more complicated? Is it going to give the drivers more tools? I like to think of it, if there was a Formula E game, which Formula E Unleashed would be a brilliant video game name. So, but how if I've got my controller, how many buttons am I pressing?
A lot.
Okay, absolutely. But also, I was just looking back at the format and all that, and it said on pit boost races, where on double headers where you have pit boost races, you also have 8 minutes of attack mode. And honestly, I think that sort of might cause a bit of a problem, because I think that's why they went back. That's why they changed up the pit boost thing this year as well, wasn't it? I think it was really confusing for teams. I mean, now we've got 6 minutes and it's simplified. You can use it once, one and done. Okay, teams and drivers probably try using it strategically. Yes, I'm
not calling fans not intelligent, right? But I'm not I think Formula E, and I don't think these rules are, I think we can understand them, right? I think if we were flooding in the race and we were watching, he's got pit boost, but it's kind of similar. Oh, he's taken a longer pit boost, he's opted for this part. Oh, he's taken a shorter one, he's gone for the undercut, he's tried to save some time in the pits. I think we would kind of understand that.
Does that rely on the
It's going to
commentary
take some
team? 'Cause-
time to.
It probably does, and obviously, and it relies on the championship, which I think Formula E, that is one of its strengths. It keeps telling us how attack mode works every 5 seconds, right? I'm like, I know
Yeah,
how
but
attack
Formula
mode
One
works,
do that all the time.
right?
Google
You know,
Gemini
so what I
probably
mean,
keeps putting
you
that
know,
in.
Oh,
you know,
that's
but
true as well. Yeah.
you know, it's just like it just keeps telling us how everything works. So I think Formula E are quite good at that, you know, in terms of explaining and making sure the fans, you know, do know. You know what's happening, and then we learn quickly. You know, look at Formula One. We had ultra soft, super soft, hyper soft, all these different types of tires, right? Once upon a time, right?
Yeah.
Well, we understood it. We got it, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like racing fans catch on, right? So I like, and they said this about pit boost as well. It's like, oh, we, you know, getting a lap down. I don't think going a lap down was a good look, rather than people not understanding. I don't think they wanted people to make a pit stop and then you got a blue flag, which would affect their race, because then they've got to get out of the race. Yeah, go a lap down. But people know what going a lap down play. People know what a blue flag is, right? And I just think, you know, I get Formula E was simple and it wanted to be really easy to just get out there, but a little bit of complexity, and I think Gen 4 will add a little bit of complexity, right? You know, we've got so much more to think about now, right? The attack mode, the pit boost, different strategies. There's a lot more going on, it seems like, compared to where we are.
The more variables, the more winners we get as well, isn't it? Because there's more options to the start line. I've got a question, Jack, for you, because you've been here since day dot.
Yep.
Obviously, we're talking about power saving Peloton. Yep. Was that ever the case in Gen 1, because they had 2 cars back then, and I know some of you guys in the chat have been talking about switching cars.
There was probably a little bit of energy saving, but it was never Peloton.
Was it never noticeable? Because that's
never
what I think we've got to remember.
It was never as what it is today. Never. Not even in the Gen 2 era was very
evolved
good.
into that though, hasn't it? Really, I think we have to accept as fans that we aren't just first on the grid to first over the finish line. There's all these elements of Formula E chess that is played, and I think that's something that Formula E are looking at and going, okay, how can we make these rules less complainable by Jack Pico?
Yeah, effectively. Who is in the chat? And if he can come on, because he did want to have a say on his if he does want to come on, he's more than welcome to come on.
Because that's the way I've seen it. It's the development, isn't it? Development of the rules. Obviously, I know that Gen 2 was kind of the perfect balance, and then we've obviously had quite a bit of energy through Gen 3.
Yep.
But I want to trust Formula E and Jeff Dodds and all the crew that have done that they know this car and they're going to give us a show. And that I think I'm going into the first race, well, very excited anyway, but I'm expecting them to really show us what they can do. Yeah, they're going to cook.
Actually,
and
we're
going to see Unleashed straight away, which is so good. Go on, VS.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, it's always a human tendency to reject something when it's new. Like, okay, maybe it's not as cool, it doesn't stick on, but with time, I'm just like, I think we'll start getting used to whatever Formula E throws at us, whatever novelty that we witness, and then, maybe even the Unleashed race, we start getting used to it and we're like, oh, maybe it's now more fun than we thought it is going to be.
I mean, if they'd have come out and said, we're having a return of something old, and it's not just Sanya, but it's fan booth. I think we will with that.
Okay, maybe not that, but
If we don't want to complain, let's think about fan boost.
Something that every driver can use at that.
We'll park it there, VS. But it was a great conversation. Yes. Thank you so much for coming on, and we obviously we both appreciate.
Thank you for having me on.
The time difference as well.
And I hope you one day get to one of the European E-Prix, if you can get that on your bucket.
Because you weren't close. Were you close to Hyderabad, or were you just nowhere near it?
I was close. Applied for accreditation and didn't get it.
Did you go as a fan, or did you?
Tried. I couldn't go actually. Very unfortunate.
Well, one day. Well, they want to go back to India, so maybe that's something we what we'll do.
Maybe
we'll push Jeff for you, right? We'll push Jeff, right? Not literally. We'll have a word. We'll try and see where India is.
Come down here,
and try and see if we can get something sorted for you, so you've got something a bit closer to home.
Hi, Jeff.
But if
We've
not
not met
that-
before, but we want Hyderabad. Please.
Yeah. You said
Yeah.
you want India. You said India is a big market. All
Just
right.
saying
definitely
here,
with
yeah.
Mahindra.
Maybe both
Yeah.
international circuits.
All right, Vias, we're gonna leave it there because we've got to get through a couple of callers.
Yes.
But we'll
See you,
we'll
folks.
see you soon.
Fingers
Thank you very
crossed.
much. Yeah,
Fingers crossed, folks, for a European race.
fingers crossed.
Fingers
One
crossed. See you all.
Yeah.
day. See you later.
Yes.
Right, who can we go to
He
next?
needs to enter into DHL VIP tickets, doesn't he? Because that'll get him to an E-Prix. But...
Yeah, he does. I'm gonna go with lovely Saz, shiny Saz. Can you hear me? Oh no, Saz has disappeared.
What is it with them today?
What is it? What is with?
They're all joining and
Come
leaving.
on, joining and leaving,
It's
Saz.
warm,
Come
isn't
on, shiny.
They're all getting the fans out.
Right,
like
come
this.
on, come on. Right, we're gonna go Ricardo. I was just lucky dip
Yes,
between
Ricciardo.
between Ricardo and Chris.
His picture's amazing.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. Absolutely love Ricardo. Ricardo, how are we?
Yo,
Good to hear from you.
doing good. How about you?
Joined on a
Not too bad.
PlayStation, Ricardo. That is amazing.
Always.
Does that mean so you're always playing? What are you playing? What are you playing?
At the moment, I wasn't playing anything. I was
You've just got it on.
watching the FE bar.
Oh, of course. What else should you be doing, right? I was like, come on, mate.
He's like, I don't need friends for a party chat. I'm going to join the FE bar.
That's the best party chat.
course.
It's the best party chat. The calendar. No Portuguese race, but you got that in Formula One. What did you make of the calendar and the rules?
Oh yeah, about the calendar actually. Yes, womp womp. No Portuguese race. Oh well. Next thing. I was actually surprised that FE decided to go to Austin of all places. I wasn't expecting it, to be honest. And the thing is, yeah, the American market is growing in general. Such in motorsports, it's a big marketplace for everything. The US. It's a But I wasn't seeing the vision that Formula E had with going to Austin. I would expect another race on another, I don't know, maybe an IndyCar track like St. Pete, or maybe go back to Portland or whatever, but not Austin, especially at COTA. And I mean, do you think that Formula E is going to use the full layout? Because
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, they will use that short variant that cuts through the SS and for the last sector.
Yeah, and then goes.
I think so.
I think it's like towards the top of the hill, and then it cuts across. I can't remember where exactly it is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's in the old F1 games.
Yeah.
I think.
With what you just said about all the IndyCar tracks, I think what's just come to me is that actually our Formula E picking circuits that people know, because then when they see Formula E COTA, they'll go, "Oh, I might watch that. I like COTA. I love it in the F1."
Yeah.
I wonder whether they're trying to do it on appeal, and because I would say the same for Zandvoort. That's a really good track to pick. It's classic. It's cool. It's, and I think it's maybe they're tapping into race fans more than they are good locations. Because I agree. I've seen some of the IndyCar stuff. Their circuits are more what our cars are geared to. So yeah, the shock of COTA is an interesting
And
one.
Brands Hatch, I think, also fits that mold very well as well in terms of those traditional tracks. I think.
I'd even connect the dots.
I think that connects quite well. What do you think, Ricardo?
Yeah, Brands Hatch actually. It didn't caught me by surprise, but when you first see the calendar and you see 2 races in London, my first thought was, what, are we staying in the XL actually? Then when Formula E released the video of all locations, all circuits they're gonna be, actually I connected the dots, but at first glance I thought they were gonna stay at the XL, even though they did, and quote unquote announce, or it was known that they weren't going back to the XL circuit. So yeah, I don't know if, actually touching on that point, I don't know if from season 13 or in this case maybe season 14 onwards, we should, Formula E should go for the city names as the placeholder for the events. We have London E-Prix or in Formula 1, we have the Italian Grand Prix or whatever, but these kind of things, yeah, you think of London.
So you think the British? So
You won't automatically think of Brands Hatch, are you?
No, yeah,
No.
100%. I agree with you on that, 100%. I think, yeah, it is a stretch to call it London, but it is very close to London. It's like it is on the edge. It is like right on the edge.
What
Right.
would you call it, Jack? The Kent E-Prix?
Yeah, you can't call it. But that's what I mean. It's what Formula E have always gone for, and I've said this as well, right?
Yeah.
Sexy cities, right? And you've got Tokyo, Sao Paulo, Miami, Austin. Like, they're good cities, right? They're recognizable cities, right? And so London is recognizable. But then we've got 2 American Grand Prix, E-Prix, sorry. What are you going to call them? Like, how are you going to differentiate between, Austin and Miami and so forth if we went down the British, E-Prix route, or the German E-Prix route, or the Spanish E-Prix route? Because we've got multiple China, like we're just Chinese E-Prix 1, Chinese E-Prix 2, like so I think cities is probably still the best differentiator.
And actually, if you compare it to F1, they have stupid names. Obviously, they sell their GP names to sponsors, but I think it's definitely the right call. And for someone who made a video, it made it really easy as well to just have it. It is just the title. So I'm happy with the naming convention for what they've gone for.
Because I think they called Zandvoort because it's Zandvoort, but you could effectively, right? That is very. If they wanted to call it Amsterdam, there's no different of calling.
I think Zandvoort is a place, a proper
It
place.
It is a place, though. It is like a place.
Yeah.
It is a little city, but if they wanted to say, actually, we're going to call this the Amsterdam because it's not far from Amsterdam, I think they could. You could arguably get away with it, but because if you're calling Brands Hatch London, I'm only saying this because you're right, Kyle, that Zandvoort is a place, right? It's like going to.
Was it you though? That
St
said that
Albans.
Brands
Like
Hatch has decent transport links from London.
Yeah, so
London
you can
itself.
go from London Victoria to Swanley, and then you can get a bus from Swanley to the track. I know that's a route.
So that's why I'm thinking maybe someone just put in the chat about the Marvel Fantastic Four E-Prix, which is kind of going off the point of me saying they never sell it out, but
But we knew it was the London one, right? But London one's in there. But anyway,
Yeah.
off moving on from that, it's just I think it's probably it's better to say the when you're racing in Tokyo, right? Tokyo sounds so much better than the Japanese E-Prix. You're in Tokyo, right? It just sounds so much better, and just being able to just about keep London as a London E-Prix, even though it's I live in London and it's going to take me over an hour to get there, but I know London is a big place, right? But that is a motorway away. Across the M25, but still.
I was going to say the M25 E-Prix would
the
be a great
the
name.
M25 E-Prix. Indeed, but wait,
Road Rage E-Prix?
What did you? Yeah, Road Rage E-Prix. It might end up still being there. What did you make on that pit boost and stuff like that? Then and the other things, qualifying points, and so forth. And also, Carl mentioned to me off air, and it's also really important. I think we could mention it here. No TBCs. We know the whole Canada. We ain't coming back in October to find out where the TBCs are. Like we're no TBCs. That was also a good plus.
Yeah, for once they got their things sorted out before November. So, I mean, in terms of the rules, I think I'm most intrigued is how the pit boost is gonna work in wet races, because I think I don't think it will be like the same rate of recharging in a dry race compared to a wet race. Supposedly, maybe how do they scale out the energy and the percentage? Because in theory, if they use the same scale from dry races to wet races, in theory you shouldn't take that long in a wet race to recharge as you did in a dry race. Am I correct? I might be confusing things.
Maybe, but you wouldn't have.
They wouldn't use as much energy because they wouldn't be putting.
Yeah, exactly.
Lower.
But that means you just go for the short stop then, wouldn't you? You just go for the short. You wouldn't go.
You wouldn't go that fast.
Yeah.
That is it. They wouldn't spend that much energy, so they shouldn't spend that much time on the
the
pit
pits.
boost on web races. You know, it's a thing that it's intriguing me, but for sure we'll have web races.
Yeah.
I hope we have
Eventually we
web
will.
races.
Eventually.
Yeah. As for qualifying, I actually think the point system for qualifying should be a bit similar to DTM. In DTM, yeah, they do a full grid qualifying on 20 minutes. Basically, the qualifying sessions in DTM are like 20 minutes long, but they only use like 5 to 8 minutes. It's actually hilarious. But the point systems there is first three place drivers get 3 points. Whereas the first gets 3 points, the second gets 2, and the third gets 1. With the duels, I think that could be applied as well, because there's the thing. Okay, so basically 8 drivers can get to the quarterfinals. Good, but we should reward the drivers that reach the semifinal, and in the semifinals, who loses gets the fastest time. So yeah, even though let's say we have a semifinal where where I don't know, it happens what which race was it Monaco last season that both De Vries and Roland spun on went straight on Zandvoort, and Paul got decided by who got out of Zandvoort faster.
Yeah. But then there is a point. There is a rule that you can't get the points. So if you get on pole but you couldn't set, I don't know, so there's like you couldn't set a lap for whatever reason, you don't get the point.
Yeah, but either way. Yeah, either way, I should say that this could make the drivers even not go, okay, bail out, or okay, I made a mistake, just bail out and whatever.
Yeah.
You know, this could push the drivers even more, mostly on the semifinals and the proper final as well, as they always push. So I don't know. I think this point systems in qualifying could be a bit overkill, to be honest. But this is just my opinion.
I see a point.
It will make single headers a bit more damaging, though. Actually, come to think of it, because I say in this, because we have a lot of double headers. Where I mean, the first start of the season we don't notice it as much, but when you've had a double header, like when we went to Jeddah and then we went to Madrid, same with Monaco and Sanya, if I've got the order right. The single headers don't feel as powerful in terms of championship, because I would say in my videos, well, Mitch doesn't have to worry too much because he can only really lose 29 points, as if it was a double header, it's looking more like 50.
Yeah, agreed. Right, Ricardo, we're gonna have to cut it there because we've still got a couple of people to get in, and me and
before
Kyle,
Ricardo goes though, I did laugh earlier that you said I hope for wet races, and I was like Formula E can just go, yeah, we'll have 3 wet races. I just thought it was really funny.
I mean, season 11 have had a bunch of wet sessions, wet races, wet qualifyings, wet practices, so it could happen. We made it with.
I'd just like to remind you that Formula E also went the first 5 seasons without a wet race until we got to Paris.
5, yeah, sure. I was just in my head it was Valencia 2021, but you're right, Paris 2019, yes.
I was going to say, Ricardo, I think you can pay someone on Etsy to do some sort of rain dance for you, so maybe you could do that if you want some wet rain.
Yeah, or maybe make Formula E do an exclusive wet race, and I don't know, E-Prix, I don't know, E-Prix Rainfest or whatever. Or Rainfest E-Prix or whatever.
Well, we are going to the Netherlands, and the Brands Hatch might be wet, so I'll take my chances.
Indeed. Right, Ricardo, we'll let you go.
Ricardo.
Thank you so much for coming on, and we'll speak to you later.
Yeah, guys, have a good one.
See you later, and you.
See you soon.
Now, we do have Saz in the call already lined up, and I know hopefully she can hear me, and the connecting is working, because she said the connection wasn't quite right, and so forth. But hopefully you're shiny. There has been a message popped up, but I can't press on it, so I don't know what it is. because Carl's camera will go. But Saz, we'll keep you in,
Yeah, don't
right?
get rid of me.
We'll keep you in on the waiting room. I'm gonna get Chris in, right? Chris. Hello, Chris. Welcome to the FE bar. You're on. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you didn't get us. You didn't get a sunstroked Pico. You've got a sweaty Kyle and a sweaty Jack. Both of us trying our hardest.
Sweating as anything.
Yeah, unbelievable, mate. But we've made it. We're doing all right for time, just about. So, what did you make on the calendar? What did you make on the new rules?
Well, calendar-wise, I think there are a few choices. I mean, Madrid, end of June is a choice.
Yep, my birthday weekend.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the average temperatures at that time of year.
No, so I'll buy sun cream. It'll be all right. Have you seen the temperatures now? So, Miles, I'm used to it. This is preparation. This is training.
Yeah, it'll be exactly like this. And say you were there with me last year. It's how much cover is there? Well, actually, you're inside. You're all right. You'll be in an air-conditioned room.
Hey, I don't even know if it was that well air-conditioned, to be honest with you.
Anyway. I don't think you had to find out last year.
Can't remember.
Well, it's 10 degrees all day, so I doubt they had the air conditioning.
I was going to say, we were all right. It was cold.
Yeah, well, apart from the Sunday, but...
Yeah, Sunday was warm.
Yeah. So I think that could be a fun weekend for the fans. Let's say Berlin this year was boiling and no shade, and if we're going to have that in Hamara, it's going to be... Yeah, that's going to be interesting, especially considering they give you 300 milliliter drinks instead of 500.
Yeah. Well,
so
that's how they get you. That's how they get you to spend the money, right? That's how they get you. I hope though, Formula E. I'm not the biggest fan of like events saying, "Oh, no, you can't bring your own water bottles." No. Like it was the same with when I went to the Italian Grand Prix. Like you couldn't bring your own water bottles in, and it's like what? Like it's like how can you deprive people of bringing in a water bottle? It makes absolutely no sense. So I hope organisations realise that you can't do that, especially when places are super hot. But anyway,
well, I was going to say, I didn't actually mention this on the bubble. Obviously, what I was telling you on the Saturday in Berlin this year, where they literally confiscated water bottles, and you had no way to get a drink when you actually walked in. They had no cups at the hydration stations, and none of the bars were open.
That's because it wasn't mandatory. Now that it's mandatory, thanks to the World Cup, I think we'll be all right.
I think we get away with it.
I think, the World Cup, that's the only good thing that's come out of this World Cup, right? We might have booed the hydration breaks, but then we're going to say, actually, in the World Cup, it was mandatory, so I want my mandatory water. Maybe that's the change the World Cup brings.
Is it a human right in England that you can have water on demand or something?
I don't know.
I don't know if
it should be it should be a human right for everybody because it's all from the United Nations. Anybody, right?
Like tap water.
Yeah, but it is. I think that's around the world. You can just ask for tap water. But yeah, it's kind of terrible. What about the rules? Because again, I know we're tight on time, Chris, and I know you've been waiting for a long time, and it's hard. Sorry to push you, but what did you make of the pit boost, the qualifying points, and so forth?
Well, I've been thinking about the qualifying point, and let's say we could be at a point where 7th place obviously goes through in the duels, and the 7th fastest lap goes through and gets the extra point, and the 2nd fastest lap doesn't.
Yeah.
I'd say it's one of those in the back of my head. It's like, obviously, I like the 3 points because you have to be fastest consistently over all 3. Whereas 5 points, okay, fair enough, actually. I'd say 3 points probably wasn't enough. But now are we getting to a point where it's more about who you end up facing in the 350 lap, you call them 350 lap, the 600 kilowatt laps.
Yep.
Compared to actually obviously setting a fast time. That's my only worry is will there be well, unfortunately obviously the top 4 is too tight, but is there just going to be that bit of bad luck? Yeah. Where you end up, where you are quick, you're like 3rd or 4th fastest, but then you end up coming against the pole sitter who just bangs in 3 top class laps in the quarters.
But you get a point at least. You get a point. You made it.
Yeah.
You get a point. You cut your losses a little bit. It's not too bad. Points better than no points.
Yeah, but I'm sure you can imagine there'll be drivers moaning.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Well,
there'd be drivers moaning about anything.
It might make good
How
content.
difficult it will be. I wonder how difficult it will be for the web design team, because obviously it's pretty clear right now when you have extra points because you have purple for fastest lap, green for pole position, and then obviously the normal points. It'll be interesting to see how they deal with it, because I think it is going to be a calculation nightmare. Obviously, we'll probably get used to it, but I think it's a lot of points being dished out over a lot of different sessions. And what are we going to give them a point for coming out and doing practice? Like...
well done, mate. The participation point. Well done.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to say a controversial view. I think now qualifying is going to be about as random as fastest lap.
Yeah.
For the point.
Maybe.
And I don't like the fastest lap point. I think that should have been taken off.
I do think there's maybe one too many points, but then I suppose to making the duels, it's so close in Formula E that the fact that you made the duels is worth celebrating. So we'll see how it works. We'll see how it works. But then what we don't want is if the manufacturers, like Tobias says at the beginning, going to be on strike. It's just the same people getting points every week. Like you don't want that.
How many teams are we going to have? Because actually, isn't there supposed to be proposed 24 drivers? If we go in on Opel, join in a second Porsche team, which means getting through to the duels is actually going to be a lot harder than the... Yeah, so actually, maybe they're trying to reward like more pushing forward. I think actually that's something that's just...
But it's hard.
We are thinking from a Gen 3 head, aren't we, most of the time?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the Gen 3 things will cover. Like, I haven't checked from the sporting regs, but all the technical regs, but I'm sure it'll be a 2-year homologation for the powertrain again, like that we're used to. So it's only software that they'll be able to make those gains to try and push forward and reach and get into those, to try and find upgrades to get into the duels.
Well, yeah.
But
not much I can comment on that.
But it's gonna be interesting. I think it's a good calendar. Are you planning to go to all the European races, or do you think there's maybe one too many?
Well, I am doing. I think plan say it's going to be very money depending, but I think I'm planning on doing five events, but skipping Monaco and hopefully, fingers crossed, going to the season finale instead.
Oh, see, that was something that we haven't. I love this show, but sometimes it's hard to fit everything in, right? The fact that we haven't actually mentioned it, I'm a bit sad. I'm honest. I'll be honest, right? I know I have the potential. I might be going to Tokyo myself. I am a bit sad that it's not in Europe because I think it's more of a selfish one. I think the world's media one is more European based. There are a couple of but it would just mean a lot of local media and so forth. And I know a lot of European will struggle. That will be at the majority of the European rounds and 1 or 2 long ones. But I just think it's been in Europe for so long, and I just think it'd be such a shame because 9 times out of 10 in Formula E it goes to the last day. But even before that, it's in China. So a bit of a shame that it's not in Europe. I think that's more of a personal bias. But I think London was a sexy city for it to end. Tokyo is an equally sexy city for it to end. So on the sexy city side of things, it's in a good place to end.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see what the press like Nick would say about that. To be honest, because it's obviously he goes to those, and I guess it's just part and parcel.
It is part and parcel.
Yeah, and I think to be fair, my view is the reason why they've done that is because of obviously the awards ceremony at the end, where I think it'd be too difficult finding a location near Brands Hatch, near Zandvoort. Obviously, they don't want to finish in Berlin.
Yeah.
And they'd probably, I can't think of none of the circuits have anywhere nearby.
Where are they gonna have the party? Can you imagine? Can you just imagine? Let's just imagine. Let's just pretend Jeff Dodds. Yeah. I'm Jeff, and Alberto's like,
hi, Jeff.
Where are we gonna have the party? Because if we're in Brands Hatch or if we're in Zandvoort, we're miles away. We can't. We can have a party on the beach. What do you think? What do you think, Alberto?
But
yeah, it's well, a party on the beach in Zandvoort I wouldn't complain about, but obviously then you just be dependent on weather.
Hear me out here. If you move Shanghai and Tokyo to where Sanya is on the calendar, Madrid would be the final on the 27th. Madrid's a good city for a party.
Yeah, again,
Tokyo's a good city for a party.
Well, yeah, true.
Tokyo's a good city for a party. But anyway,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Chris, I'm going to have to cut it. Because we're short
no
on time,
worries.
and Pico and Will and Saz are still like
Yeah.
everywhere.
We'll say end the party talk. End the
People,
party talk.
end the party talk. Absolutely great to have you on. We're just gonna rattle through these as quickly as possible over the next 10 minutes.
No worries.
Thank you.
Enjoy the weekends.
Yeah, see you soon. We'll get Chris in the pie. We'll have to sneak him into the after party. Let's try Saz. Third and final time. Saz. Oh, UE shiny. Or are we not shiny? This might be the final time I try you, though, Saz.
Yeah, 3 strikes and you're out.
3 strikes and you're out, Saz. I know you're in the message, right? And you're messaging in the chat.
None? Can you hear me now?
Yes! Oh, happy
Yes,
days,
he is.
happy days, Saz. Lovely to hear from you. What are you looking forward to on the calendar and the rules?
Ooh, looking forward to, well, if I can get the time off, which is going to be really hard, so I might be telling some lies to my boss and be like,
It's always a good thing. So don't panic about that.
Zandvoort should be really good.
I'll tell you what, Saz, you're definitely a dancer. You'll be on the dance floor in that fiesta, for sure.
Correct.
Correct.
Will you be joining me on the dance floor?
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I've got to get there because on a Friday it doesn't work well with my schedule, right? But I will try my hardest.
Yeah, the schedule's going to be a problem for me. So, like I said, there's gonna have to just work some sort of reason out. But it looks like it should be fun. But
Yep.
yeah, What I'm surprised though is, with like Berlin and Monaco being a week apart, Zandvoort and the Netherlands a week apart.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have put them 2 weeks apart, and because Effie, like, it's got this great, with the Gen 4 car, it's getting momentum.
Yep.
But extend the calendar through August, take advantage of the summer break, because the calendar is basically ending the same time as the Formula
F1.
1 break.
Yep.
Here we got the finale London, that's on 15th of August, 16th?
Yeah,
You know,
15th,
it's
16th, yep.
when nothing else is going on. So I was really surprised, like, how compact they made it, especially the European legs for the fans, for the teams as well, having to get all the cars, probably not having time to go back to the factory to change things. I think that would have been a better schedule, because I probably would have got to more European races, but looking at the calendar, it's like, yeah,
Well,
you can't really...
Madrid's an easy one for you because it's not too far for you to get to, at least.
Yeah.
So,
Madrid is a definite one,
Yeah.
for sure.
and
Maybe Berlin and Zandvoort, but
not
and Zandvoort.
brands.
No, not brands. I'd like to go to brands, but I think
That could be
it's-
another year. Could be another year.
Exactly.
You know,
It'll be
it's gonna be here for a little bit. So we got time. We don't have to squeeze them all in, do we? In
and
one
the other
go.
thing I want. Exactly. We got other years, and I'm intrigued with this Formula E Unleashed, because it's only 30 minutes, and it's like, it's a lot of money for tickets, travel, hotel, and stuff for a 30-minute race. I know
Actually,
you've got
yeah,
qualifying and
You've
stuff.
raised something there, because I defaultly buy a weekend ticket because I'm a fanboy. But you're right, some people would just go for the Saturday or the first race, wouldn't they? That's a really valid point.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause, like, take Madrid. I mean, last year the cheapest general admission ticket was like, I think about €70 a day, and 3 days at the Barcelona Grand Prix general admission is €200. So per day, it's about the same cost as Formula One in Barcelona,
Yeah.
and you've got the support series, and you know, I think it's like, especially for casual fans, if you don't maybe it's coming close to you going, I really want to spend that for a 30-minute race. So I'm intrigued to see.
Yeah, I said this. I'm really, really, really glad that you've raised this, because the first thing I said when I saw it was, well, is the Saturday tickets going to be cheaper than the Sunday tickets? Because I'm only watching. I know you get practice and you get qualifying, but the main event, the race is the main event, right? And the race is only 30 minutes, right? Because some people don't rock up, right, for practice and qualify because of the time it is in the morning. You witness that, and you'll witness that yourself, Saz, at every race that you've gone to in Europe. The grandstands are not half full by qualifying, but then they're full by the race. But are you just going to turn up? You're going to spend 80 quid for 30 minutes? Like, that's like, you could do a lot more with your time for 30 minutes, for 80 quid or 80 euros. So I fully understand that.
Yeah, because they're not around the corner, are they, either?
Yeah, so you have to travel.
For some people it is.
So travel to see your favourite series and only see 30 minutes of it. But then you'd argue the weekend ticket, but then...
getting a party, though.
Yeah, Zandvoort's getting a pie. But not every of them. Madrid's not getting a pie. So, why would I go to the Madrid?
Yeah, but they got Pepe. Maybe every E-Prix is, or every... Can we call them E-Prix now?
Yeah,
because obviously
E-Prix Unleashed.
that's kind of being used for the Sunday race. But for a weekend, maybe they're all going to have their own little novelties somehow.
Maybe.
Like
tea session,
and a lot of people like me. I mean, yeah, I'm a total fan, so I like to. For example, for London, I could have got the weekend ticket, but said, okay, I want to be on the main straight this one for one race. I want to be on the corner for the next race. So yeah, I mean, okay, I'm still buying 2 tickets, but
is there no weekend ticket? There is no or there is a weekend ticket, but you have to keep the same seat.
For London, there was weekend ticket, but you have to keep the same seat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I decided. Okay, go 2 different spots, and to be fair, it wasn't much more expensive than a weekend ticket. Like the savings were negligible.
That's just a choice tax, isn't it? That's how I would view it.
Yeah, it's a choice tax. But I think, like, if you only go in, if the race is on, for example, in Madrid, there's a lot of Pepe fans and a lot of casual fans who might go 30 minutes. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Well,
so
you get 2 wristbands then, because you'll have 2 different seats, obviously, for 2 different days. I guess that's why it's more of a cost. Anyway, back to you in Madrid, but.
Yeah, I think you'll be all right. I know the race. There's a lot of races in Europe, which is good. But yeah, the ticket price I think is definitely something that needs to be looked at because and I said this for the normal E-Prix when we were having 35-minute races at like Misano and Portland and stuff like that. It's like you've paid for a half-hour race. Is that good enough? Like, I suppose you kind of don't want that to continue. Well, it will continue because the race is 30 minutes long, or around 30 minutes long. And then we say 30 minutes. We don't even know if it's a timed or a lapped race. At the moment, we're assuming it's a lapped race, and they're saying it's around a 30-minute race. But that might not be 30 minutes for every race. Some of them might be 27, for example. Right? So we don't quite know. Yeah, because we've got the extended time. So it's a minimum 30-minute race in a 45-minute window, right? That's what the rules say. So that's the interesting thing. So it could go up to 45 minutes, but that will be through safety cars or red flags or whatever that will cause it to go that far.
I think it'd be daft for them to go back to timed racing. I think one thing that F1 does that makes a lot of sense is they go, our races need to be 100 kilometres, and so it doesn't matter how long the track is, that is what governs the laps.
I think that's a good shout. I mean, I would have liked to have seen the actual E-Prix be closer to an hour instead of 45 minutes, because I think it would showcase the technology.
Yep.
Because there's still like a lot of people think, oh, but my electric cars don't charge very fast, or they don't have the distance. And I'm like, I mean, I know what you were saying, it's a long day for the drivers, but extending it to an hour, 50 minutes an hour, it's like, it's an extra 10-15 minutes. They're getting paid millions. They can do it.
Yeah, and I do think that is the option, because remember, right, it's 45 minutes in a 75-minute window, but if it gets suspended, it's 3 hours and 1 lap. So I think there is scope, right, for this as the car progresses, right, for the races to eventually become a little bit longer. It might be just first season Gremlins, see how we do, and then looking into next season, then it could get. I think the option's there.
Yeah, I think with Gen 4 being so new, I mean, we're probably pushing this car to the limits, but halfway through the season they're going to discover different parts of the car that's going to make it more efficient, and then come the Gen 4 Evo, because that will probably happen. We'll see some probably longer races, faster pace. You know, that's what we like about technology. It's innovation after innovation.
I wonder if they'll almost do what F1 have done with this year, like, okay, our regulations aren't quite working, and maybe change it about or see how. Because you can do all the simulations, but until the first race, you're not gonna know.
Yep, we're not gonna know. But that's the interesting thing to find out. So, Saz, we're going to cap it there because we've got Will waiting, and then Pico wants to get his final word in. So, thank you so much for phoning. Thank you so much for waiting. Sorry we couldn't quite get you in earlier, but
that's okay. It's all shiny now.
All shiny. So, we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See you.
Hello, Will. Will.
Hiya. How are you?
You're good. You've got 3 minutes. What would you like to talk about?
Fantastic. Well, as I've been saying on many of the shows, I just feel like the races, the 30-minute sprint, I like the idea. I just wish that maybe instead of there only being a 30-minute sprint, because then it, you see the performance of the cars, it showcases that. Why couldn't it be 30 minutes, half points, then a 10-minute red flag period, recharge the cars, another 30 minutes for half points? Do you know what I mean? So then this way on Saturday you get a full hour of racing.
That's a bit like how NASCAR works.
But the car's not going to get charged in 10 minutes.
I thought they did about 10.
Maybe at 600 kilowatts it might. It struggled after 80%.
I don't know. But the thing is, they've all got to go in, charge. I don't know. I don't
How about
know.
a 15
minute? Maybe a 15-minute or 20-minute break, maybe. Right. I'm not 100% sure how long it actually takes to get up.
Hydration break.
Yeah, dehydration break, as we're calling it. I'm not sure. It's a good idea, but then would it be 2 separate races? So 2 separate races. But then,
I don't know. I mean,
how would you govern qualifying for the second race? Like you do one qualifying for the first race,
reverse
which we've got,
grid.
but
reverse
then
grid.
I mean,
and what if there's penalties in the first race? Well, what if stewards have got to speak to drivers?
Well, I guess
the way that I was. Good idea, and now we're hounding him.
Well, you got to hound him. You got to find the holes.
No,
it's a good idea. It's a good idea, but you got to try and say, well, what about this?
Very good idea.
I think each one would be considered like the first half and second half of a round, right? Yeah. So if you get a grid penalty, that's for on Saturday, that's for the Sunday, right? And whatever the finishing order is after the first 30 minutes, you award the points, you have the break, you start in the same order for the second half.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the idea.
And then for Sunday,
you can try and win your other half.
Yeah, exactly. So you've already locked in,
But are you going?
Points.
Are you going like? Because obviously 25 for a win. So are you going 12.5, or are we rounding this up to like 13 or 12?
Well, I mean, see, that was I mean, that's the thing. Half points might be a little bit confusing. So the way you'd get around that is you could just double it, right? So then a win is 50. So all the points just get doubled, right? And then whatever the first half is, it's obviously 25 points.
But then would the E-Prix Unleashed outweigh then the E-Prix? Because the E-Prix you only get 25 points, whereas you can get 50 points for being very good for the Unleashed section.
No, because the Unleashed would be 25 and 25 for the first half, second half, and then in the E-Prix it would just be 50.
So
you win the race.
You're changing the whole points scheme.
Yeah. Just take all the numbers of the points and double the number.
Okay.
I like the idea. I do really like the idea. I think I think it's a really good idea actually. There's definitely stuff you could flesh out on that.
Yeah. And then for the E-Prix, I mean, I think it's just echoing what other people have said. Similarly, I wish that it was an hour-long race. So then, if you buy a weekend ticket, you get 2 hours of full racing, right? It's 30 minutes on Saturday, full hour on Sunday. Because it is an awful lot if you're, let's say I wanted to go to the Amsterdam E-Prix, right? I'd still have to buy the Eurostar ticket there and back. I'd have to buy the hotel, the tickets to the races, obviously. It's a bit
for an hour and 15 minutes of racing.
Exactly. At the moment, it's only an hour and 15. At least if it was 2 hours, it's like, okay. Now we're in the ballpark of like other series like Supercars or Formula One or something.
No, I fully get that.
Can I throw a crazy idea in? You're probably all gonna laugh at me.
Go on.
But someone mentioned earlier about car swapping in the chat, and I thought that was outrageous. But what happens if we have a team race where it's 10 cars on the track, and then they come in and it's like a relay? Like they come out and then the next one goes out. So you blast it for 30 minutes, and then
John Eric
comes
Verne's
in,
got
and then Muller goes out.
I don't know.
I like that
it's a
idea.
crazy idea.
But that would have to be a separate championship in itself. That couldn't be anything towards the like the actual drivers' championship. That would have to be a separate championship.
There's the pitfall. Yes, of course.
It's the drivers.
Right,
that's what I was
right,
going to say.
right.
Yeah. Because that would be you need a whole different championship for that. A nice idea.
That's what I love about like just thinking, because it feels so fresh. I feel like we can throw some ideas out, and obviously, Jack, you're a member of the press.
Yeah.
Do Formula E listen to us?
Yes.
Like, how much impact? Because I feel like they do listen to the fans.
Well, they clearly listened to Pico because he wanted sprints, right? And then he was. I'm gonna tell a story when he's on in a second. That's gonna be absolutely hilarious, and he's gonna kill me for it. But I don't think it's not that bad actually. But we'll get him on in a second. Will, I'm going to give you the last chance just for any closing words because I know it was a short time, but you arrived really late, and I thought I can't not get you on because you're such a avid fan, and I know how much you appreciate the show. So I wanted to make sure you got on. Anything else that caught your eye from the rules or calendar itself, or anything that you're looking forward to?
Well, I appreciate you guys too, and thank you for getting me on. And I'm very excited for Gen 4. And I really appreciate that the calendar is longer, and I think that that's a step in the right direction. And there doesn't seem to be these big gaps, like month-long gaps, like we have in the current one. So that's all good stuff. I just wish that there was more racing time, actually racing.
Yep. No, I get that. I fully get that. Will, thank you so much for coming on. Come on earlier next time. Try and,
sounds good.
Don't just spring on up on us 5 minutes before the show's about to end. Like, oh god.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, though.
Wonderful ideas.
We'll speak to you soon. Right.
See you in a bit.
All right. Let's get the big man.
I
into
wonder
the
whether
show.
is it worth, if Pico can get his camera on, is it worth if I drop off the camera? We.
No. He's the guest today. I don't have a lower third ready for you. I could.
Do I get a lower third? Do I get a lower third or not?
Hold on. I don't know. All right.
Hello. Pico.
Okay, I can do a lower third for you.
Calispera.
Give me 2 seconds.
Calispera, everyone.
Give me 2 seconds.
I'm in Greece.
Hey, how are you holding up? Because obviously you're quite easy to burn, aren't you?
Yeah, do you know what? I was fine until today. And then I didn't put it on for like 2 hours, and that's me done. But yeah,
it's quite nice now. Is this your first time as a guest on the show?
I think I've done it once before.
Because I think obviously it was the first time for me in Monaco.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And
when I forgot to unmute my mic.
Yeah, good times. Right, where is?
Well, I'm starting to think. I was thinking when I was driving home earlier. Have I done more FE bars than both, like individually? Because I've done 2 with Jack.
I think it's a fairly even split. I think it's a fairly even split.
You've been a very very reliable.
It's not the stat I thought I was going to have.
Very reliable backup co-host at this precise moment.
Yeah. And like you guys have been grinding it this week, doing 2 shows in the ridiculous conditions that you guys have got over there. I mean, to put it into perspective, it was cooler here today in the Isle of Kos in Greece than it was where you guys are in the UK.
You've got AC in your room as well.
Yeah, it's been delightful.
Mate, you're there. You're there. To be honest, it's good that you don't have a camera because we don't need to see your smug face. That's what we don't need to see, right? We don't need to see
also because I'm putting the after sun on, I don't have a top on. No one wants to see that.
No one wants to see that. No, 100%. I've seen it. Don't need to see anymore. Don't need to see.
Right. Do you want me to go through my things very quickly so that you guys can?
And then I'm going to tell the story,
shelter.
and then we can go.
All right, lovely. So I've basically just made some notes because I know that we want to get this through like very quickly. And Carl's fanning himself. Like, yeah.
We've both been washing the sweat off our faces the whole show's gone on.
Yeah, I do not blame you. I just want to say, like, yeah. I want to say, well done, Formula E. Chapeau. It's like this is the best June announcement that I think we've had ever. I know that you guys touched on it. No TBCs, so brilliant. The calendar is quite compact. I'm not sure about the back-to-backs, because we have that a couple times.
I don't think we've had a back-to-back since
with
Paris.
From you guys in content, because obviously me and Corey have crapped ourselves seeing back-to-backs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zandvoort and Madrid, and I think there's another one. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I think there was two.
I can't see it straight away.
Yeah, they said what was it? It was
Berlin and
It's
Monaco.
Berlin, Monaco. That's it. Yeah. But yeah, honestly, really excited for the new venues. And no big surprises there. Austin had been rumoured. Brands was really on the cards, as was Zandvoort. So, yeah, really excited for them. I agree with what Jack Smith said in that BT earlier, that Austin is going to be a little bit of an iffy one, or especially in the first week of Feb as well, when it's going to be, I reckon, almost minus figures. Yes, Austin gets very hot in the summer, but it gets very cold in the winter as well. And I think that they haven't really taken that into consideration.
He'll be all right. He'll be all right.
Yeah. Sanya in mid-April, and then that's the only trip to that side of the world. And then before Shanghai later in the year, it makes no sense. We had Sanya at this time of year. Yes, it was very hot, but as is Madrid. So I don't know why they couldn't have been
how they've offset that sustainably, really, because normally the calendar they bounce around to be shortest distance, don't they?
100% on that one. Well, that's one to ask. We'll get opportunities to ask.
How many trees you planted, Jeff?
We'll don't panic. We'll get a chance.
Yeah, I want to say I love the idea of the dual points as well. I think that was very much needed. I think that, especially after what happened in Berlin this year, when no one really bothered to qualify on the Sunday, because it was a strategical advantage. But the thing that I've advocated for many a time, and I think it still needs to come in, is we need a lead most laps point. Because I think that's something that we need to kind of like.
I think that'll be good
given.
Good to sort of test, right? If depending on what type of racing we get, because if we still get a peloton type race, right, next season, then that could be good, because then it's not a disadvantage, right? If you led 21 laps out of the 30 lap race, right, at least you get something for it, like, maybe it's a rolling thing, so it's like, all right, if you lead 10 laps you get a point, if you lead 20 laps you get another point. Right, so if you led the whole race and
we don't want to go down the golden lap route that we almost had a few years ago. Maybe. That was diabolical. But but yeah, no, I think that we need one for lead most laps. Obviously, I've been very much an advocate on this show about sprint races.
Yep.
And I'm happy that we finally got one. It's just in completely the wrong place, as has been mentioned on the show. Some people are going to rock up on the Saturday for a 30-minute race, and it's not going to be like that great. The sprint should have replaced Sunday qualifying instead, and then you would have had the qualifying that set the race, set the grid for the Saturday race, and then the sprint on Sunday. And the sprint on Sunday sets the grid for the race in the afternoon, and that's how I would have done it. And then you get a little bit more bang for your buck, and it's little bit more exciting, but so I like the idea that we've got sprint. It's just wrong place.
I'm sure you can pitch that to Jeff.
My point on that.
I'm sure you can pitch that.
I think I did, and I think that's the story that you're going to bring up next.
The story that I'm going to bring up. So it was quite funny, right? So we went to the Gen4 Unleashed, right?
Yeah, I knew this was going this way.
This is a recent story.
We went to the Gen4, and obviously afterwards, right? They put on a little spread for us, right? Very nice little spread. Free alcohol, free cocktails, right?
I was going to say any of that.
Right. Free alcohol is the important point here.
Free alcohol, free cocktails. It was all good. This guy, he has a couple of drinks, as we all did, right? We all wanted to make sure we got a good couple of rounds in, right? And then he sees Jeff, right? And he runs to Jeff like an excited dog, right? He was so happy to see Jeff. I've got a perfect idea, right? Sprints. I've been saying it for ages, right? And I'm there just walking up to Jack, and I could see him so excited talking about these sprints. And Jeff's there like, calm down, son.
I think we were nattering beforehand, and then I went, I'd like to propose a thing, and both you and Tyler went simultaneously. Oh God.
Here we go. But it was a good crack, and to be fair, he took it. He was good. He was nice, Jeff. He was like, yeah. To be fair, you're not far. He was like, you're not far off what we're thinking about, right?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it, David?
It's just the mindset.
Guys.
It was just he was half drunk while he did
the paddock, doesn't he? So I think a tipsy Jack, which I would be in the same position if there's an open bar. That's just lethal. Yeah. So I would have gone up to Jeff Dodds. I mean, I call him out in my videos. So God, to think what I'm going to do in person if I see him.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm here on an all-inclusive, so the all-inclusive is getting abused.
Well done.
So it should.
By the way, right, next year, Pico, right, we're gonna have to talk about holidays, right? How have you managed to book a holiday, right, on calendar reveal day, and a race? 2 bars you've missed.
Yep.
We're gonna have to sort that out. That can't happen again next year.
I wasn't the one who decided it, so yeah. And then I'm not doing anything for Shanghai because it's British Grand Prix weekend, and
but you are doing
that job that I am still in for now. I have to be there all 4 days, so.
But it's alright. I can do the comms for that. That's alright on the watch along. So that's no problem there. As long as you'll be back, but you'll be back by my side. I'm sure the viewers.
Yeah, exactly.
The viewers will be happy, although they'll miss Kyle.
Yeah.
Right, but we can get Kyle on as a guest if he wants to come on.
I've really enjoyed.
Don't worry, I promise to wear a shirt for that.
Right, so because he's done an amazing job filling in for me. Well, you filled in for me, but then he filled in for you, and now he's filling in. He just seems to always fill in for you, mate.
Yeah. My last point that I had on here, because I know that you want to finish up and everything.
Yeah.
The race length, and this is something that I wanted to ask really, because I don't really understand it. There, they said 45 minutes. Are we going back to 45 minutes plus 1 lap? Or
no, I think I think as I said earlier, right, with the sprint, I reckon it's going to be definitely still laps, right, but it's going to be around 30 minutes and around 45 minutes. So we're looking at around... So it might go to a 50-minute race, for example, because it's a 45 minutes in a maximum of 75. However, as I said for the sprint, that could mean that it's 25 minutes, 27 minutes, 28 minutes, right? There's also the potential for that. Maybe 31, 32 on some of them. But there are also potentials for it to be less than 30 minutes because, as we've seen in some races, they have been less than 45 minutes in some of our Gen 4 Evo races in places that we've gone, but I think they're aiming for around 45-minute races, and then hopefully that will increase as we get more equipped with the Gen 4 car.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, I had either between 120, 150 kilometers in terms of race distance. That was my kind of like ideal, but obviously we need to see how like the Gen 4 cars cope. First, and then we'll see from there. But 30 minutes plus a lap is what I've always been saying for the sprint. So literally bang on the money. So what can I say? I'm just built different.
Just built different.
I'm just gonna say this though, I can't stop laughing under my breath. But the chat have said Pico Unleashed, and I'm just thinking of him at the all-inclusive.
Pico Unleashed.
Oh God.
Pico Unleashed.
Oh God.
Pico Unleashed.
How do you get barred from an all-inclusive?
Yeah. We're about to find out. The vlog will be up Monday on the FIFA channel. Titled Pico Unleashed, barred from Greece.
Well done, Megan. That was amazing.
Right, Pico, we'll leave it there because it's nearly 10:30 here and we don't want to...
Your holiday's got to be holidaying.
You go and it's 11:30. Yeah. What time is it? They're 12:30?
It's coming up to midnight. So
time to go out by the sounds of it.
You better get back out, mate. You've had pre-drinks at the all-inclusive. Now it's time to hit this strip, innit? Hit this strip. Although you don't sound as bad as the Gen 4 Unleashed day, so you've done well, mate. You still got room in you.
Really? Okay, I'm surprised by that because to be fair, I think I was more sunburnt that day as well. So the sunburn and the booze
and the stress.
There was a lot of stress though. When you're working, you would have burned way more calories than just enjoying your holidays.
Yeah, exactly.
But, it's good to have you on, though. Good
to have you on.
Yeah,
get you guys together. I feel like it's an honourable moment just to have you back together for once on an effing bar.
Hashtag cute.
Yeah,
cute. All right then, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
Right.
Enjoy the rest of your
In a
holiday.
bit, fellas.
See you
All right,
later.
right.
Enjoy the rest of your trip.
It's like a World Cup correspondent there for Pico, and he's on his holidays.
Yeah.
He's like he's on holiday basically, but he's got a report.
He came for the right half as well, because you're not allowed to drink in the first half.
You could. Johnny, unfortunately, we're not going to take you. You are in the waiting room if you are watching. We're out of time. And you know,
I'm out of water.
We're hydration break. Brazil, Scotland's on soon. I think we all want to go watch that. So, thank you so much. But yeah, apologies, Johnny. But if you came a little bit earlier, we would have squeezed you in. But thank you.
Leave a comment on my
thank
video.
you. Yeah, leave a comment on the video, and so forth. But yeah, thank you to everyone for watching. It's been actually packed, FE Bar, and as I said, we can't do the show without you. We really can't. And you make it. So thank you so much for watching. We're gonna take both of us going to take a cold shower, and I've already had one. I already had one 2 hours ago, just to be cool and ready for the show. But yeah, enjoy the heat. Stay safe in it. Stay hydrated. Wherever you are in the world, you've been amazing. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Good night.